Oh.
Coming through.
Yo!
Alright everyone, let's get this party started! Hope you're ready to hit it!
What? Wait, what just happened? What? How did they learn? How did they learn the date? Alright, I'm not even gonna question it. What? Oh, it's the fucking muscle dude. What are they fucking like air humping? What the fuck? Oh boy. Are they gonna have a muscle off?
There he is! Our challenger for the evening!
What? Wait, why didn't he? Wow, coward. Why didn't he go with the more buff guy?
Welcome to our gilded paradise, the Gold Saucer! Neil, art director. And you, sir, are...
Cloud.
Well, Cloud, shall we duel?
Let go.
Now, when fate sets us a challenge, we must rise to meet it.
So why didn't he challenge Barrett? Barrett's more jacked.
You can do this, Cloud.
What is the challenge? What is? I'm just gonna accept it.
Seconds out. And
Sephiroth!
Let's end this. Together.
I must admit, I underestimated you.
Someone says, "What's the future?" Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Lights, camera, action.
How's it going, guys? Figured I'd put the attire on one last time. We got, of course, some guests joining us tonight, and we could just hop right into it, because this game is just... The ending of this game is nuts. Absolutely nuts. We'll get into it. You've known him on the channel before. Introducing VII Marion. How's it going? Hold on. How's it going, man? Good?
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up?
Am I coming in good? I think my internet connection's a little choppy.
It's a little choppy. A little bit. Hold on. Keep talking. Okay, yeah, it's definitely choppy. Shit. All right. While that is sorted out, we're going to talk about the ending to one of the most crazy video game endings. And crazy not in the sense of what happens, because I don't know what the hell happened. I have no idea what happened at the end of the game. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't. And it's an ending that I genuinely think they don't want you to know what's going on, which is strange. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. I imagine they won't strike me for playing this ending because they have to know everyone is going to be doing the same shit I'm doing and just breaking it down. Can you hear me? Okay.
Now I can hear you. Are we good? Because all that was super choppy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's still choppy. It's still choppy to me. Let me, you guys in the chat, let me know it's choppy to you.
Give me 1 sec.
All right. Sounds good. Take your time. Good idea. Yeah. While that's going on, it has been. All right. So I actually finished this game while I was kind of closing out my comic book campaign, which I'll plug real quick. So if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, I do have a limited edition Final Fantasy VII homage cover for my comic book Phenomenova. So if you're interested and you want a superhero story, check it out. I was partially inspired by Final Fantasy VII because I originally was going to be a bank heist, and I was like, what's something more interesting I could have our superheroes stop? And then I thought of how amazing that introduction is to Final Fantasy VII, that would tell you everything about the world in the future by having it be a Mako reactor heist. So I decided to make it a nuclear reactor heist. And there is a scene where our blonde protagonist looks up this futuristic reactor, and I said, all right, we got to do a Final Fantasy VII homage cover. So if that sounds interesting to you, this comic book is on Indiegogo and Fund My Comic. I will put the Fund My Comic link in the YouTube description. But yeah, that's enough about me. We could talk about me later. Let's see. Is this working? How we doing?
Working on my end.
It's working on mine right now too. Working for me. Sounds
Sweet.
good.
Sweet.
So you just beat this, right?
I did. First, let me say the cloud cosplay, awesome, on point. Nice. But yeah, I did just beat it 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago. Saturday.
What are your thoughts? Because I was a whole lot of what? Was a whole lot of my thoughts? Was a whole lot of, huh? What's going on? That was really my mindset playing the game. Still cutting through? Choppy? It looks
it keeps glitching in and out.
Yeah.
Here,
are you in a hotel or something, or?
No, I'm in my living room, and I don't understand what the issue is at all, because this did not seem to be a problem. So
Yeah,
I'm so sorry about that.
No, don't worry about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I could talk about this game forever. So, yeah, figure it out. If you can, it's not the end of the world. But we could try and figure it out. Hold on a second. So while that's happening, yeah, I mean, this ending, bonkers, man. And I think I marathon the last portion of this game. And don't worry, Stargazer, I will get you on. I will absolutely get you on. Yeah, is it what's the deal? Is it if it's not working? Okay, take. So this is, I mean, the ending of this game, I knew it was going to be cryptic because I kind of had light spoilers. But we'll go. Obviously, by the way, if you're watching the stream, we're going to spoil the hell out of the ending in explicit detail. Looks like he's going to bounce. So, if you have not Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I will. But if you have not played this game, first of all, even if you have played this game, god damn, like this ending is so. First of all, I don't want to hear a single person tell me they knew what was going on during this ending because no one does. Everyone, even like the biggest YouTubers I'm watching, are just kind of speculating what they think happened. Um, because the truth is, only Tetsuya Nomura knows, and I think he designed it that way. How do I feel about that? I don't know. Mixed thoughts. Mixed thoughts. I think I was very happy with the game for the most part. The ending, I won't lie, rushed. What do I mean by that? Let me tell you. So what I mean is, okay, so they skipped after Nibelheim. It felt like we kind of, and it seems weird for me to say this considering I spent all this time doing side quests, but it felt like they marathoned to the end. So in the game, there were stopping points, right? So there was Nibelheim. Then you go through Mount after Vincent, who's playable in the original. You speed through Mount Nibel. You get to okay, so you go through Mount Nibel. That could have been one chapter omitted. Rocket Town. That could have been another. That would have been another chapter. 2. Okay. Now we go. Wutai would have been 3. Then we go back to the Gold Saucer. Am I missing anything? Then there's like the mine town after the Temple of the Ancients, right? Which leads us, or no, after the Temple of the Ancients, which leads us to the City of the Ancients. So that's like what, 4 chapters of material we cut? But don't worry, we have a 50,000 Chadley side quests. Thank you, I hate it. No, look, I did like the game. But oh my god, does this game have pacing issues? And it has pacing issues. It does. By the way, if you're on YouTube, do consider coming over, checking out my YouTube channel. It's just my name, Vaughn Coleman. And let's see. How are things working?
Yo, does that work better?
Yeah, it works better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I was trying to do it in my living room because my office is super messy because my wife is cleaning out our bedroom, so a bunch of clothes are stacked up there. So I didn't want to have that messy background.
Sorry
but
about that.
no,
That's
but it's
how
all
it
good.
works.
It's all good.
It happens. What are the posters? I'm just curious. What's the sign? It looks like it's signed.
Oh, so one's the band Switchfoot. Have you ever heard of them? Like a rock band. It's a signed poster from them. Yeah, they're pretty good. And then I got one from my karate sensei that he did a poster that he gives out to all his students every year. And then I've got a Blink 182
awesome.
concert poster back there.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were that into
And I got all my for sure. Yeah. I got my skateboards and my action figures back there too. So.
Oh, cool. You know what's funny? I used to love action figures when I was little, and then as an adult, I never got into collecting them. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe I think I have enough time-consuming hobbies, but I'm not. It's not off the table.
Yeah. No, it was the thing. One of those things I grew up with, and like I was away from them for like years, and like I don't know, like right like after college, I was like, oh, this one's cool. Like I'll get this one to collect. And then it just kind of like
spiraled.
Just go down that rabbit hole, and it's too many,
So for those that are just joining in, so to everyone about you, I'll even pull up your book. Let's see real quick your comic book, because your book more so than mine is like very much. I feel like Final Fantasy VII fans could be into. Soul Striker. Let me pull it up. It's always, I feel like the Kickstarter, or not the Kickstarter. The hold on a second. Indiegogo algorithm is weird. But let's talk about your book for a sec, and then we'll get in, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the game. So tell me about Soul Striker real quick. This is your book. I'm going to put the link to it in the chat.
Yeah, so this is my creator-owned book. It's called Battle Chronicle Soul Striker. It's very much inspired by things like Final Fantasy, Gundam, X-Men, 90s comics, 90s anime, PS1, N64 era video game RPGs. So if you like any of that stuff, definitely check it out. We ran a Kickstarter. We got successfully funded there, and this is a second chance campaign now in Indiegogo. It's all for the same campaign tier, and we're aiming to have stuff shipped out in December. That's what we're aiming for. All the pages are with my colorist right now, so all the art and writing for this first book is done. We're just writing on colors and the other production stuff. But yeah, it's about a fantastical world, and it's on in the war-torn land of Impera. The reluctant Princess Roxana Sakai, with the help of 3 Soul Striker knights, must find the power to wield the solar key and bring peace to their kingdom and fight back against the dark Fomorian hordes that threaten the peace on their planet. And yeah, it's very big scope, fantasy inspired. Like I said, like 90s comics, 90s X-Men. And yeah, it's if Final Fantasy something you like, definitely go check it out. We've got, like I said, the Second Chance campaigns on Indiegogo right now. We've got 8 different variant covers, and it's like I said, it'll bring you back that feeling of like when you're a kid playing these RPG games.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love all these covers. I immediately was drawn to the art. And yeah, definitely check these out. Who did this one again? Joe Benitez, right.
Yeah, that was Joe Benitez. Yeah, we had Joe. I did 5 of the covers, and Joe Benitez did one, Brett Booth did one, and Sully did one. So yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. All right.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that ending. I remember I was on a live show and I got the message from you, and you were like, "Oh, yeah, V's the artist. Yeah, I can't take credit for mine. I just tell them what to draw, but V draws it all." So I actually, I have Cloud and Tifa. You draw some great Final Fantasy VII stuff too, but
Thank you.
what did you think playing the? Because I played it and I was like, you got to know about this because that ending is.
Yeah, well, because you texted, because I was like, I finished all the side quests except for that party animal, the ultimate party animal thing, which is like bullshit.
Oh my God.
Like, and I was trying to do the combat, the arena part of it. That was the first time I was trying, and I just wasn't getting it. I'm like, you know what? I'm moving on. I go into the open world, and then all of a sudden the Gilgamesh Island opens up, so I go there. And like I tried it like 4 or 5 times. So my one buddy was like, "Dude, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Just like you don't." I'm asking for like tips and tricks. Like he's like, "Oh, I just go in and like whack away at him. Like I don't use materia. I don't have any special loadouts. I don't use any abilities. You just go and hit him." And I'm like, "What? This is impossible." So and you texted me. And you're like, "You finished it?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna like move on to the."
Yeah, that's what I did. I should have done that because I waited for the party animal. I did that one. And then someone in the chat was like, "You realize you could just like do these later?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just do them later when I'm a higher level." You will have to grind to get the Gilgamesh. You will have to grind, which is annoying, but you could do it at the gold saucer. But you will have to grind. So
yeah,
like if you have a podcast, something to listen to while you're doing that, you could do that.
Nice.
But
nice.
What did you think of the ending?
Dude, okay, so my initial reaction was like me and my wife were playing it, and like we were like hyped for it, and it starts playing, everything happens, and at the end of it we were both like, what just happened? Like we were both like confused. Like I didn't know how to feel. I legitimately did not know how to feel. I wasn't stoked, but I wasn't mad either. I was just like I was so confused. Yeah, and then I'm watching through the credits thinking there'd be a stinger at the end, and there wasn't. I was like, wait, what? That was it? And so like I was really like unsure like how to feel about it. And the next day I basically just listened to a ton of podcasts talking about it, like
explain videos. I listened to an hour-long one today.
Yeah, like Maximilian Dude was the one who he does a YouTube channel, and he was the one who's inspired him. And the Midgar Minute was a podcast listened to on Spotify, and they were both breaking down. And like I feel like between the two of them, I kind of got like their interpretations of it kind of opened up my understanding of what was going on. And then now I'm actually really hyped for the next game. I think it's a really good ending. After like processing what it was, I think it like very much like part 1, it leaves more questions now, and now we're having like this conversation. Because if it was just a straight remake of the original game, like if it was just straight clear Aerith is dead, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. We'd just be like, exactly. It looks great in
That's
HD.
A good point. That's a good point. Speaking of, I'm gonna bring in our third person. So this girl knows like everything about this. She messaged me after she watched, because I played through it live, and my confusion is visible live. She's like, "All right, let's talk about this." So I'm gonna send her the link now. She's been in chat, Stargazer, but yeah, we'll talk about it. I have footage pulled up to reference too, because the ending is just, I mean, it's I want to know more. I want to know what happened to these characters, and I get a feeling that, like, I think it was very much by design meant for us to not understand.
Totally.
For us to to like get, but just not get. I think like it was similar with the last one. I think this time we're more accepting of it. How's it going?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Hey, we can hear you.
Woo! All right. Hello.
What's going on?
Hello. How you doing?
Doing all right.
This is V. So we finished the game. I'm confused. All right. So my understanding is, well, before we get into it, because she probably knows a lot, so I'm going to tell you what I think happened. I guess
Go
we'll
for
say
it.
what we think happened. All right. I think Aerith is dead. She's dead, but there's like maybe an alternate timeline, but I think eventually she's gonna live in that timeline and interact, but eventually she'll fold in, and it's almost like the next game is gonna be like processing that grief, and I think it's gonna end up folding in into one timeline by the end of the next game. I think it's showing all these timelines, but if you look at how many different timelines are shown at the end of this game, there's no way they can explore them all. It's not like it's one and the other. Even with Zack, there's multiple. I think the point is that we're showing reality and decisions branch off, but ultimately they come back, is what I think is going to happen. I think this is more of a thematic purpose, and that's what I think.
Okay. Dee, what are your thoughts?
So I at first was very confused, but like after looking at like watching it a couple times and stuff, I think in the party's timeline that they're in, Aerith died, right? But I think that I don't think that Cloud's just hallucinating Aerith. I think now I could be wrong about this, but like I think when he blocked the sword, there was that sort of haloing rainbow effect around it that is shown around all the times when timelines diverge. And I think he actually did save her, but it branched the timeline, and he's existing. His conscious is existing between two timelines, or two sort of spaces of reality, in like one where she lived and one where she died. And I think they're getting really confusing with it because like the multiple timeline things, I don't think it's going to be like how Marvel does it, where like, say like Captain America goes into another timeline and there's two Captain Americas. They were very clear about this, that like when Cloud and Aerith woke up in the Zack timeline on their like date scene at the end, they were basically like inhabiting themselves of that version. It wasn't like they were watching a Cloud and Aerith that we already existed. It was almost like their consciousness was sort of jumping between the timelines. So I think what Cloud is seeing is like he's seeing the rift in the sky, and like I've seen people say that same rift was in the original game in like the part where his mind's fractured. So like maybe that has something to do with it as well. Like maybe that is just fractured mind, but maybe it's also like he's literally on two planes of like existence at once. I don't know. That's a crazy out there theory that I have.
Okay. So am I good to go ahead with what I think?
Tell us what we're wrong.
No. Actually, you guys are like really close to what I think is going on. So I do think, because whenever we see that rainbow light, that halo effect, it means a new timeline has formed. And we know there are multiple timelines because just this week at Otakon, they had questions at the FF7 Rebirth panel, and one of them was, how many stamp timelines do we have? The answer is currently we have 6. And each of them has a star on them to indicate which one they're from. They're also different dog breeds. So the one we've been traveling through that we perceive in Remake and Rebirth, as far as we know, is known as Beagle Timeline. And that has 6 stars, if I remember correctly. I think Beagle is 6, might be 5. I need to look at my stamps again. So we have Beagle, we have Terrier, which is the one we perceive Zack going through, primarily.
Beagle is, hang on, the main one is which one?
Beagle.
Okay. First
Think
of all,
of it like
the fact
Snoopy.
that we have to know dog breeds for this.
Yes. You don't have to. I'm going to give you star numbers. I think star numbers is a good way to do it, as is dog breeds. I think they gave us options for that very reason.
No, I can know them. I just think it's crazy that this is like essential lore.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So we have Beagle, who is, I believe, the 5-star. We have Terrier, who is the 4-star. Okay. That is the one that Zack is primarily in. Then Zack splits off a few, which is the one where he saves Biggs, which is Pug. That, I think, is the 6-star. I really need to look at my stamps again. I do apologize.
I'm just pulling up in a Google image of it.
Good idea. Then we have Corgi, who is the 2-star. We have Some of us say Chihuahua, some of us say Pomeranian, some of the official panel said Spitz, so we're going to go with Spitz.
Spitz?
I don't know. I don't know dog breeds. So it's the fluffy little dude on there.
Okay, that's definitely
The fluffy,
is that
yeah.
Chihuahua? That's a Chihuahua. All right. Okay, so we have the 5 dogs. All right, so hang on for context. So every time they split into a new timeline, you see this Stamps, who is like on a bag of chips, and every time we see Stamps and he's a different breed of dog with different numbers of stars, which indicates that it's a new timeline. So
Correct.
is he like a temporal being?
So Stamp, and this was said in the 30th anniversary event in Japan. Stamp is a representation of the story.
What?
So you are literally changing the story when you change Stamp, which makes sense because you're changing a timeline. So from a developer standpoint, whenever Stamp changes, the story changes, if that makes a little more sense. So he's not necessarily a temporal being. He's more of just showing like, okay, now the story is totally different.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
exactly. He's just a signal.
Okay, gotcha. So there's 6 timelines. Zach has created like probably most of them. It looks like.
Yes.
Right? So,
And that's Zach's role.
Because he had one where he went to save Biggs, one where he went to save Cloud, and then one where he just was sitting on the steps, not making any decision. Right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
That's 3. So then what else are we left with?
We have Beagle, which is the main. We have Terrier, who is Zach's main before he goes and saves Cloud. And the last one is actually very much a blink and you'll miss it. It's when he's in the church, like the torn down church that Meteor is hurling towards. You can briefly see a different one. And that is the 3-star.
So there's 2 of him in the church?
Wait,
this is in the final battle when he gets transported to that church that's like on fire, floating in the middle of the sky, fighting Sephiroth Reborn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So the only stamps that we are presumably missing, and we know that we're missing a few because, and this is going to get into, so I need to make a quick little disclaimer. In OG Final Fantasy VII, there was a statement from the developers that they put a lot of time and attention to detail to, quote, the graffiti on the walls, the signs on the street corners. So a lot of us have taken that to heart and know that they're going to do the same kind of thing for the re-trilogy. So lot of hints to the story. Right. So a lot of hints to the story are going to be in the most tiny, innocuous details because they can't tell us anything out front, but they can reward those who are paying attention and who actually like dig in and look for these little details. And I'm not saying I've caught all of them. I'm not saying the server that I am in, who I am going to credit as the Forgotten Capital. That is not the actual server name, but that's what I'm going to call them. I'm not saying we found all of them. We're still finding new ones every day. Like this series is enormous, but we've dug into stuff like the graffiti, like plushies, where they're placed, like literally every tiny little detail about the world had to be decided that it was going to go there, right? So there are books in Aerith's house in chapter, I think it's chapter 7 when you meet her. I can't remember for sure. They are lined up on her shelf, and there are 7 books. The second one is missing.
What does that
mean? The second book in the set of 7 is missing. So we take that to mean that eventually we're going to have 7 stamps, which makes sense. It's Final Fantasy VII. You're probably going to end up with 7 timelines, right? But we're not allowed to see stamp 2 for some reason yet. So we haven't seen stamp 7 yet from what we know. but we're not allowed to see Stamp 2 yet for some reason, because that's the only book that's missing.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, my question is, all right, Sephiroth, this version of Sephiroth is traveling through time, right? Because he knows about previous games.
Presumably, yes. Presumably.
My question is, so then where the hell is this Sephiroth? Oh, he's embodying it, like he's possessing this Sephiroth.
Sort of. Can I talk about Aerith?
Talk about what?
All right. So we're going to affectionately refer to the Sephiroth who is at the edge of creation as, quote, Aerith, who is... There is more than one Sephiroth. There absolutely is. And I'm going to get into that.
I was hearing this on a podcast today that the Sephiroth in Japanese at the end of the world refers to himself in like a different, he refers to himself in the informal and the other one refers to himself in the formal.
The other thing is the gender. Yeah, the other thing is the genders, which are very interesting. So ore is typically a masculine way to refer to oneself, and it is very informal. Watashi, which is what he primarily uses, refers to oneself in a feminine form, and it's very formal. It's like higher than you, like mighty, like hoity-toity, it's very formal. So the Sephiroth who we follow through most of Rebirth refers to himself as Watashi. The Sephiroth who we meet at the edge of creation in Remake refers to himself as Ore. This Sephiroth... The other interesting thing is Sephiroth also refers to himself as Ore. Go ahead. Yep.
Wait, 1 sec.
Wait, is that like him saying me or I? Is that what that's translating to?
Yep. Okay. It's basically saying me. Yeah. Me, I, whatever you want to call it. So the interesting thing is Sephiroth referred to himself as Ore before he fell into the life stream in Nibelheim. After, throughout the entire compilation, anytime Sephiroth showed up, he referred to himself as Watashi. So now we have a Sephiroth who's referring to himself as Ore again.
When he was before he fell into the life stream. So
correct.
Before he bonded with Genova and all that.
Correct.
So this Sephiroth has the mentality that he had when he was still more human.
Possibly. We don't know. It seems that way, though.
But because the reason I ask is because he's acting more like that holier-than-thou God Sephiroth than...
There's some theories on why that might be. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, the one on the edge of creation is the one that seems like the most evil to me.
Yeah, he seems just like... Because Sephiroth, honestly, one of my fears is that they were going to turn Sephiroth into some sympathetic character, which I just think the character absolutely is not. And it doesn't seem to me like they're going that direction. He seems like, if anything, more of an asshole than ever. But
I think you might end up being surprised.
With what?
So,
I really hope he doesn't turn good at the end and
okay.
I really don't want that.
Yeah,
I need
every single villain. They can't all be Magneto, okay? We got Magneto, we got Darth Vader, and then you can't make every. They tried to do that. Apparently, they wanted to do that with what's her name from Avatar, Azula, and it's like Azula is just a terrible person.
So okay, I'm going to say this. I do not think the Sephiroth we are following through Remake and Rebirth is going to be redeemed. Okay?
Yeah.
Point blank.
Okay.
But I do think there's a reason why they've introduced sort of the multiverse and multiple timelines and multiple possibilities. And I do think they are interested in redeeming a Sephiroth.
Okay.
So this kind of goes into Ever Crisis, which seems like it wouldn't connect to the main remake storyline, whatever, except... Can I spoil First Soldier? Because I'm sure not a lot of people are really going to dig into it.
Which is it?
First Soldier, I was literally
listening to a podcast about this today, about his chapter 1 origin. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, so there's a
Yeah.
scene
Yeah,
at
go
the
ahead.
end of First Soldier that kind of all but tells us that they're kind of interested in playing with a Sephiroth who maybe never turned evil. We don't know. Because at the end of First Soldier, he does something very heroic, like he just saves a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden he's getting like headaches when he shouldn't be doing this yet, because this is before the main crux of Crisis Core. This is still in the war in Wutai. And then we cut to him staring at the universe and the edge of creation.
See, but he could have. So my interpretation of that was like the headaches is just like that's a Genova thing, like because
It could be.
he's like, yeah.
Okay.
Everything
Well, no,
I'm saying
you know-
here is purely speculation, is purely theory. The only people that know what is actually going on are the developers. But I'm speaking about this from the point of view of talking with a bunch of other people in a server where we literally just like dig for this kind of information. So everything is purely speculation, everything is purely theory. But this is kind of what we
that's
think
so
is
interesting.
happening. There's a few other points towards Sephiroth redemption, but go ahead. Yep.
No, because you brought up the multiple timeline thing, and like I think like I think the whole reason that they did it is for this right here, right? Is to not just do like a straight like just a graphical update and like and not and because especially if you're splitting it over 3 games, like just doing a straight graphical update, there wouldn't really be like hype behind it, right? Going into each chapter, and I think like the whole reason they did this multiple timeline is so that we're doing what we're doing now. We're like, holy crap, what happened? What does this mean for the next chapter? I can't wait to play the next chapter, right?
I think it was Hamaguchi or Kitase said at Otakon that they hope we can, quote, stay in this realm of confusion a little while longer. I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was a very interesting way of saying it, but yeah.
At least they're being honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're being honest about it. I think it. Listen, I have my mixed thoughts because I love the original. Would rather. I'm very much of the belief that making things clear for the audience is a sign of good writing. But I do understand. I do like talking about it. You know, what can I say? I do like talking about it. But
no, it's a lot of fun. I love theorizing.
Yeah, I think that if it ends, like if the trilogy ends and we're still like, what just happened? I think that's going to be terrible. But like, I think like as long as like when this whole thing is over, like everything gets explained in some capacity and like we feel like resolved. Like I think all the sort of confusion between each chapter is worth it.
I have some faith in the developers because I think they always intended Part 2 to be, and I'm going to say this, I don't want people coming for me.
Go ahead.
I think they intended Part 2 to be the, quote, filler element of the re-trilogy. So I think they always intended for Part 2 to be mostly that fun, that exploration, that open world, not really worrying too heavily about the plot of what's going on. That's why they played it very safe and they kept it very close to the towns and stuff that you go to in the original. Whereas in Remake, we were like, you know, plot ghosts, visions of the future, like Advent Children callbacks. Like, we didn't really get a ton of that in Rebirth until the end, and I think that was intentional because we're gonna get it all in Part 3.
Well, and from being honest, though, to be honest with you, it kind of it did the opposite, and it made me go, I don't like, because I'll be honest, this last portion with this timeline shit, writing wise, probably my least favorite portion of the game. I have to be honest. Like, it just when they're sticking closer to the original, I like it better. I think, all right, so there's some new changes I liked, right? I loved, there's some that are stupid. Like, for example, I think they fucked up Nibelheim big time. Making it some big hospital is stupid. Like, okay, so in the original game, it was so impactful when you find out, holy shit, they literally just covered up the Nibelheim incident. They denied these people died. They hired fake actors. That is some, like, messed up stuff. And the new game, like, oh, it's a nice place where we help people. I'm like, all right. It just had no effect on me.
Yes, I would agree with you there. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and whenever I'm trying to get FF7 fans into Kingdom Hearts, I will literally tell them, like, if you were disappointed by Nibelheim and Rebirth, get to Kingdom Hearts 2. Twilight Town's gonna be your scene, buddy. Like,
It's just
it has that creepiness to it. Yeah.
Now I will say there was some good stuff in Nibelheim. I almost liked playing as Kate Sith until the fucking.
I'm so upset they gave him the worst dungeon because I love Ketchi.
when he shows up and he's little and you see it from his perspective, I was so happy until the fucking box game. You know what I'm talking about? You have to take it. The worst controls.
Yeah.
I was on 30 goddamn minutes just throwing the thing over and over again. Horrible.
That's so valid. I'm so upset because I have been a Ketchi fan since I experienced the original through a friend. I've genuinely liked his character, and I thought he was an interesting little dude. But
I think they did a good job with him in this game.
The funny thing is, he's had a reputation for being horrible to play in the original for years. And so I was like, yes, finally, they figured it out. They figured out his gameplay style. People are finally going to love Ketchi. And then this dungeon happened. And I was like, no!
He was good until he wasn't.
I never used him, ever. Like, when I had to use him at the end in the fight, I was like, oh my god, like...
Valid.
Red 13 and Kate together? Oh my god, two characters I never use. Oh. I started... I think I mostly used Cloud Tifa Barret.
They're valid as hell.
Yeah, Cloud Tifa Yuffie and then Cloud Tifa Aerith. That was probably like my... Like, I always used Cloud Tifa, and then like as the third one, I always swapped out, depending on what it was. And Aerith, like, at first I thought she was like really hard to use and she was terrible. But then like once you realize like what she's good at and like the casting and stuff, she becomes like super powerful. And I'm like, oh, she's
once
really
you unlock Radiant Ward, everything changes. Yeah.
Well, I just learned after all these hours you could have multiple wards at once. I thought you had to choose.
Oh no!
So the whole game, I was so bad with Aerith. I was so bad with Aerith that whole game, and then I learned that you could just teleport between fucking wards.
Yeah, with her mischievous little giggle.
Over 160 hours of my life.
I mean, I used synergy skills maybe for like 4 fights the entire time. I kept forgetting they were there.
I use them all the time. I love those. The bodyguard one, the iron defense on Barret. When I want someone else to take the hit with Aerith, you have to use it because she just dies. She dies in like 2 hits. You have to, you have to make someone else take it for her. Tifa is one of the most fun ones to play. I just love how I've always liked aggressive fighters down to the point like in Mortal Kombat. My main is Liu Kang, so she felt similar to that. I don't know. I've always liked rush down characters. It's kind of why I like Cloud too. So
yeah.
I liked everyone's gameplay style, even though I was really bad with Aerith.
I will say
style worked for their characters.
I did like how the developers kind of punish you if you try to just completely ignore Aerith in combat with that final fight at the end. I was kind of happy with that because a lot of people went into Rebirth like, oh, I'm not going to give her anything. I'm not going to level her up because I know she's going to die, you know? And then they were like, about that.
Yeah, I use that as a chance to use her more. I do, by the way. I used that for the intro. I've been rewatching that one scene when Aerith shows back up. Just like removing anything. It
was so cool.
Shot, the way the soundtrack picks up, the way it like cuts to, you see the hair and the staff.
Yes.
And it's just it's so well directed. It's
her end game moment.
Yeah, like my God.
She's really good at.
I think that.
Okay, wait. So,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna. That was it. I was basically just saying that.
Well, because I want to ask Stargazer, what is so we got so off topic. What was your interpretation of what happened when Cloud blocked Sephiroth's sword?
DK, I think you had it pretty much bang on. He did create another timeline where she is alive. We're just not allowed to see it yet. We caught glimpses of it. But yeah, I don't think we're allowed to see it yet. And I happen to kind of have an idea how we're going to get there, but we'll get to that later. So what's your question?
Because she does say...
do you think...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say 'cause she does have that line of dialogue where she goes, so what you did back there, Cloud. Thanks." As soon as you start
Yes.
playing as her.
Yep.
Wait, so the one that comes through the portal at the end, where you and Cloud, like you and Aerith fight together, Sephiroth. Do you think that's the Aerith he saved?
There's a lot of questions about which Aerith is which, because I think there are multiple being shown to us definitely in that ending, and I think the developers are being very sly on which one is which. And then there's also the possibility that yes, she survived, but then this is like a live stream avatar, a la what she kind of did in Advent Children. Like, there's so many possibilities that it could be. I do think she is alive. I do think when Cloud woke her up at the end of the game, that was not a hallucination. She is alive somewhere. I just don't know which Aerith showed up to help us fight Sephiroth, because we have a potential for 3 Aeriths right now, and it's driving me mad. So,
well, yeah. So that was one of the theories that I heard, was that like he basically just imagined saving her, and that he basically is hallucinating everything.
No, I don't think that's what's going on at all.
I think they'll use that as an element at play, though, and make
yes,
it going crazy.
I think Sephiroth was laughing because he knows that Barrett, Tifa, Ketshi, Red 13, they all witnessed her quote-unquote die. And they're going to quote-unquote convince Cloud and the player that she is actually dead. And it's going to cause his breakdown in part 3. But she's not really dead. Cloud just is stuck in a universe where literally everybody else thinks she is. And I think that's what Tifa's role is going to be, is actually fixing that.
So I had a crazy theory that me and my wife were talking about this, so what if when he saves Aerith, right? Like in our theory is if he creates 2 timelines, right? What if the timeline that you've been playing in this entire time up to that point is the one where she lives, and the one that he created where she's dead is the whole party kind of sort of shifted over to this other timeline?
That's a very interesting way of looking at it. I'm going to have to drop that in Forgotten Capital later. That's an extremely interesting way of looking at it. I love that.
Because like Tifa, like because she had that whole like glitchy when she was looking at what's happening. Tifa was the one who had the whole like Nova headache thing.
Wait a minute.
I think Tifa is definitely going to help Cloud realize she's not actually dead, and she's going to be the first one to believe Cloud. And I think that's going to be really sweet. I think that's going to be so sweet for everybody involved.
Yeah. So at the end, the very end, when they're at the high wind and Cloud is like looking at everyone and you don't see Aerith, and when you see even from his perspective, you see Aerith walking around. Do you think that's actually Aerith, or do you think that's a Jenova hallucination?
I'm going to be real with you. I don't think Jenova is involved at all. I don't. Because whenever we see her, she's not like trying to manipulate anything happening. She's just kind of there for the ride, right? She's just kind of there. And that's not Jenova's typical, like, MO. Jenova is going to try to make something happen. But I don't think that's... I think the Jenova Aerith theory is complete, like, not real. Not happening. That is my personal thought. I'm not going to go after anybody who believes it's real. But for me personally, I think it is entirely debunked.
Well, yeah, because I was listening to a streamer talking about this, and he was saying that Aerith's acting so out of character in that last scene and stuff. And I went back and watched it, and I was like, I don't think she is. Like, I think
she's just herself.
This is so on. And they're saying she seems sinister. I'm like, I don't think she seems sinister at all. I think she seems like Aerith. Yeah, and I'm like, I think this is like. I think it's definitely seeing something you want to see in that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So. I don't think this is Jenova.
I think, and I will, okay, I'm not going to get into, like, shipping bullshit. I know that's not what Vaughn wants here.
No, it's okay.
I will say
your opinion.
I think a lot of people are looking for confirmation bias.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had this idea of who Aerith was and what she was like from the compilation. because her writing changed so significantly for Advent Children and Crisis Core that when the developers went back and they wrote her much more like her original character and how she behaved in OGFF7, everybody was totally thrown off. And they were like, that's not the Aerith I know. So now they're looking for confirmation bias to kind of decide, like, you know, oh, well, this isn't really her then.
So
You know what I'm saying?
I thought she was. I mean, look, I think Advent Children sucks. But like,
Yes.
I thought.
Oh, dude. No.
You like that?
No. It's an incredible action.
Oh, the
movie.
We're
action's
talking
awesome.
the plot. We're talking the writing. The action is fantastic. The visuals are great. We're talking the plot.
The plot's like whatever. The whole thing is an excuse just to have a huge fight scene at the end. That's like let's be real. That's what it is. It's them just being like, let's like make this like visually amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I do agree with you that the plot is like, but yeah, Aerith in the
What were the main
compilation, she's
villains'
more
names?
like
You know what I mean? Like
Kadaj.
Like, what is
I don't remember
Kadaj's
the other ones,
personality?
he's like a mini Sephiroth.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
You just compare him to a better character. Like,
He's just a
like,
crazy little guy.
Like, in what movie have you ever seen in your life? Because I watched it when they played it in the anniversary in theaters, where as soon as the villain gets swapped out for a different villain,
Everybody cheers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
it's
because he
true.
sucks.
But
It's like, imagine if Thanos got like swapped out and then
No,
everyone just
I
cheered.
genuinely do love Kadaj, but I love Kadaj because of how unhinged he is and how kind of a loser he is. That's why I like him.
Dude,
I like him for those
beaten by
purposes.
the Turks were cooler than I love the
Yes.
Turks, by the way. First of all,
The Turks were great.
Why did Reno just like leave for most of the game? And then
That is because his Japanese voice actor passed away.
But so then why did he come back?
So they used archival footage of KG performing in other roles, and they kind of like stitched it together. They pulled a Robin Williams with what they did with him for Genie in Once Upon a Studio for his very brief appearance in that short. They did exactly that with Keiji Fujiwara, who is his Japanese voice actor.
So
But they could only get so much. Yeah, they could only get so much. They're talking about recasting or potentially using AI. Dear God, I hope they go
I
recast.
hope they just recast, dude.
I just hope they recast. Yes, same.
Fuck
Same.
AI.
Wait,
Same.
Stargazer, do you play the game dubbed or subbed?
I play the game dubbed or subbed. I play the game dubbed, but I know people who play it subbed.
What'd you play it as?
Because
I dubbed.
Dubbed all the way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the voice cast.
I can't.
I should specify. I do not have my hands on the controller because I do not own a PS5. I watch others playthroughs. I watch my friend play through games, but I watch the entire process, not just like skipping to what I want to see. No, I actually like watch like the menus, the materia, the leveling up, the everything. So practically playing the game, I just can't make any decisions.
You're lucky you didn't have to.
Nice.
You didn't have to fight Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh wasn't even that bad. It was the fights leading.
I did skip a lot of the side quest content because I know my friend is eventually going to get a PS5, and I want to experience that with her. I want it to be fresh with her.
Oh, it's
so,
not. I mean, you'll probably experience it anyway. But most of the side quests. That's another thing. I did all of them. Most of them are not memorable, like at all.
No, that's what I hear from a lot of people. I think the Gilgamesh one is great because we just finished playing through FF5 in our marathon. We're marathoning the final. Yes, it's Final Fantasy V, and dear God, he is a delight. He's such a lovable loser. I adore Gilgamesh with all of my heart and soul. Anytime he would appear, we'd be like, "Yay, Gilgamesh is here!"
I thought he was from 1.
Nope, he is from 5.
Okay.
I mean, he's in other ones though. I think he's in 8, maybe.
He's pretty much in every Final Fantasy after 5. Just he might not be the exact same character he is from 5. So, like, yes, he appears in 8, but he's not the same character. It's a Sid situation. Everybody loved Gilgamesh so much, so they were like, we have to have a Gilgamesh in pretty much every Final Fantasy going forward.
Okay.
Not all, but a lot of them.
So this one came through a rift. So is this the Gilgamesh from?
Yes, this is Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy V.
5. Okay.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So
cool.
He is
assume
also
so.
Gilgamesh from Strangers of Paradise, had a DLC that focused entirely on Gilgamesh, so he is the same
So
Gilgamesh
he's
there
a
as well.
popular character. Okay,
Yes.
so getting back to 7. So first of all, I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. She just seems like she's being a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She pops in and out of existence, but I mean, like, you know, we're not supposed to know why yet.
How first of all, how are they gonna top this boss fight in the next game? This goes
I
on
don't
for
know. Safer is gonna go hard. That's
Well-
all I know.
When they brought in Zack and Cloud fighting together, I thought for sure that would be the end of the whole trilogy. And when they did that here, I was like, wait, what?
I
whoa,
cheered
I was
so
not
hard
expecting it.
seeing the boys together. That was such a good
I was not.
moment.
I was not expecting that. That was so sick. Like playing as both of them, that was sick. It was so good. But
That's
what are they gonna do
more
for the third one though?
So I
Yeah,
think,
I mean,
and I do have a wonder because they know that we're just expecting elements from the original. I almost wonder if Safer Sephiroth is a fake out final boss.
and we're gonna have like a real timeline. We're gonna
Like
fight.
something going on afterwards, after Safer Sephiroth. Yeah, I think he might be a fake out final boss.
Well, Safer Sephiroth we didn't fight, right? We just fought the phase
Right, we fought
before.
Bizarro, who is interesting because he's not supposed to show up till North Crater.
Yeah, no, they're all supposed to show up at the. That's so weird. I don't know. Did they have the
Mhm.
ball Genova? I forget.
No, we have not fought Ball Genova yet.
First of all,
Nope.
he looked awesome. Like
Yes.
so cool. Love the design
I
of it.
think this is one of my favorite Square bosses in recent years. He looks amazing.
I'm so confused about him because he's got like 3 faces. Like, it's like, wait, where does it say? Yeah, but he does look
See,
cool.
but
He's
that's
very cool.
Final Fantasy bosses, baby. This is the bread and butter
Yeah.
of a Final Fantasy boss. I love
hate this
15,
sword.
but I'm sad Arden never got something like this. He never got his big monster transformation moment. He was just a dude
Who is
with
this?
like kind of a fucked up face.
The Final Fantasy 15 villain. Yeah,
I
he's
haven't
like
finished
not
it.
a.
I honestly got bored with
it's-
15.
I love
I need to. Someone was telling me to go back and play it because I got too caught up in the side quests. And the
Yeah,
problem with
just
side
over the
quests
story. Fair warning, after you get to a certain point, the story does kind of fall down a flight of stairs.
I've heard that.
But
Oh,
you know-
I disagree with that. I thought 15 had a really good story.
it does. It's just like
It's
the
really good.
writing of it kind of falls down a flight of stairs. It's like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and like the connections between are kind of like weird and like kind of funky.
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to
I mean,
read-
yeah, but
play it or finish
I
it.
do think it has some of the strongest characters though. Like I think
For
they're like up there with
sure.
the 7 characters.
Arden Azunia
Yeah.
is my favorite Final Fantasy villain of all time. I freaking love Arden Azunia. I
Wait, which one
freaking
is
love the
he?
Choco Bros.
Is he-
But
Which one is he?
He's the
See, I
bad guy.
barely
He is-
remember the character.
he is 15's villain. You'll meet him later. I have a feeling since you stopped, you haven't properly introduced yourself to Arden and Azunia yet.
I got to the part where the sister showed up.
You got to
the guy
hear
with,
it.
like, the hat
Okay.
and the scarf.
Sister.
Well,
Gladiolis' sister?
He looks like a barista in Brooklyn, Arden. He's like very hipstery looking. He's got like a big scarf and a hat.
Oh, I think I remember
like-
meeting that dickhead. I think so.
yeah. So you meet him briefly at the start,
He's
and
the
he's
main
there to
villain?
cause problems. Yes.
See, I didn't think it was that memorable, but maybe I.
You're not ready for the reveals coming with Arden later. Oh, one of my favorite Final Fantasy villains of all time.
Okay, so I'll have to play that. I was told 16. I was on a phone call with another writer earlier today, and he was telling me that Clive is his favorite protagonist. Clive is the new
Valid. I'm not super into 16, but I have heard Clive is a fantastic character, so that is super valid.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I beat 16. It's really good. Clive's awesome. He's definitely up there with like. Oh, yeah.
Cloud. I mean, Cloud's my favorite by default because it's only him
Cloud's the
and
best,
Zack,
yeah.
and I like
He's
Zack.
the boy. Yes, he is the Final Fantasy boy. Like,
I fucking hate this sword. I hate this sword.
same. So ugly.
And you had to.
I'm gonna
carry
be
it.
real. A lot of the Rebirth weapons were very ugly. I really hope they go back to the drawing board on the weapon designs in Part 3.
I mean, I wished like they did what they did in Remake, where you could basically level up each weapon. So like, because in Remake, I used the Buster Sword the whole time.
That's I
like,
did too.
Mm.
I did too.
Yeah, because I like the look of it. Like the visual of the Buster Sword is like the coolest weapon in any like
Yes.
section. It's like such a cool iconic weapon. And like I hated that like it was so weak compared to all the other swords that I could like at the last fight. I would have loved to have Cloud and Zack both have the Buster Swords.
Buster
Right?
Sword.
That would have looked so cool. But I had that like crystal green sword at the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it, I wish I
she'll
switched
be
to the
back.
Buster Sword.
She probably just left that accent. No, I did the same thing in Remake where I had the Buster Sword the whole time because you have to stare at it the whole time, and the whole time I have to look at this ugly piece of shit the whole time you're doing these the side quests. I hate this sword. I could hate it. I liked the last one better, but they're all not as good. The only one that I think was comparable to the Buster Sword, even still Buster Sword is the best one, was the third one you got. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one did that look like? Was the one with the purple?
Oh, that one was cool.
purple
Actually,
like...
I take it back. That one was cool too. The purple one might be the coolest. No, it was. That was it. Let me see if I.
The second one was just like a knight sword, right? It was just like
that
just
was
like
it.
like a straight like broadsword.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, did you struggle with any of these fights? You said you struggled with Kate Sith, right?
I struggled with that fight. I died on the Cloud Zack Teemo fight. I died. I had to retry that, and then the Cloud Aerith Teemo fight, I died and I had to retry that too. But the other ones, I was just basically slamming potions the whole time. Like, and so like I have no idea how you beat this on hard mode because like I was just constantly healing, like constantly with the Giga Potions, just like
the Giga Potions. Like... Thank God for Giga Potions, dude. You'll need them for the Gilgamesh and that shit. It was fucking annoying. Yeah, this part was like one of my. So I think personally, my theory with this, I mean, this is my immediate thought when playing. I think this is meant to be, at least thematically, is what matters. This is meant to be.
Okay. I apologize. I keep forgetting I can't leave this on my phone.
It's okay. No worries. So the thing about this is I think this is meant to be like the last hurrah for Aerith. I think it's like spiritually it could be her. It could be her from another timeline, but more importantly, whether it's literally or not, it's meant to be like one last
goodbye.
Goodbye.
I don't think so, but I respect that thought.
Oh, what do you think it is? I'm just curious.
So I think it's more of that we're not going to see her for a while. But I do think she will be back and will be playable to some degree in part 3 because there's some very interesting things about her that we did not receive in part 2. We never got her top weapon from the original, nor did we get her top limit, which is Great Gospel, her final limit.
I never unlocked those in the original. What was the Great Gospel again? Great
Gospel is her final limit that you can unlock. And she also has
play as her in the next one. I'm saying I think this is her send off. I think she meant to be for that version. It's almost meant to like, a cathartic sense, be it.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Alternate version of her. I do think ultimately it will end with her dying, but we'll see. Maybe not.
I am of the belief that the entire reason the remake trilogy is existing is to give the fans the chance to actually save her and keep her alive this time.
So you do think that? Because I thought you thought it was going to be... Oh, sorry.
My wife wants that so badly. Like, Aerith's her favorite
A lot of people do. I mean, by the time part 3 comes out, it'll have been 30 years since the original, and fans have not lost hope since. They have sent emails, they have sent letters, they have prayed, they've looked for her in every single crossover, people jailbroke the game to keep her alive past Forgotten Capital. Like, I truly think
that's why they're gonna kill her, though.
I don't think so, because if you look
not trolling, but
no, I'm
just feel like
you.
no, this like this is the story that we have intended, and like your fan
I
theories
don't-
like don't matter. This is what we
Yeah,
intended. Like part of me
and
thinks they're gonna do that.
And
Like,
it's also, to be honest with you, it was meant to be that painful. The fact that it is proves the
Yeah.
point, because he literally, the developer, made
So-
that because his mom died and he wanted to impart that feeling. And I think
That
bringing her
was the
back
then,
cheapens
though. I want you to think about the world we live in now, what we've recently endured, what sort of mass loss we've experienced. I mean, I just lost my mom.
it. Right.
So, like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. to hear
and the world is kind of dark as it is.
that. Mhm.
We don't really get those happy endings anymore. And
I
even
get
in
it.
our media, a lot more often, things are leaning towards, bittersweet, sad endings
Yep.
versus an
yeah.
ending that actually lets you feel that catharsis and lets you feel happy,
Yeah.
since you
no.
can't do so in the real world.
I mean, that would be cool because I saw someone was talking about how the developers are saying they want to give a happy ending for all the characters at the end of this, and like that would be. I mean, that would be cool because like the theory of this being a sequel to Advent Children, like the idea is like the correct order to play these games is the original, then watch Advent Children, then play these remakes, and like that in theory could be like at the end like Zach and Aerith are alive and they're together, like that's like like and or, like
I
just getting all
so-
the characters like having like happy endings,
I do think that at least Aerith is going to get a happy ending, and thus Cloud is going to get a happy ending because he's not going to lose her this time. I think that this is because I think after this game, a lot of the original developers are going to, quote, retire. So there will be some
Like-
that might stick around for one more project or two, but I think some are straight up going to officially pass the torch on to Hamaguchi, saying FF7 is yours now. I think Nomura may stick around for a little bit while longer as a character designer. He's got Kingdom Hearts that he's working on, so he's still going to be busy. But I do think I kind of theorize that Nobuo Uematsu is probably going to retire after Remake. And I
thought
also think,
didn't he already retire?
yes, officially, like step away totally from Final Fantasy music. I don't think he's going to write anymore after this. This is his last hurrah. And Kitase has officially said this is his last project with FF7. He may work on other titles, but he is not going to be working on FF7 anymore after this. Nojima, I think he just wants to be done with being the Final Fantasy VII writer, or the Final Fantasy writer, I should say. I think he's ready to just kind of work on his own projects and not have that pressure on him anymore.
I don't blame him.
And right, that fandom is scary, man. So
yeah. Well, Final
I
Fantasy
think-
VII,
I think. Yeah, I think they all are probably looking to retire, like you're saying, and like.
and
Yeah, and
they
I
have
don't
written
blame them.
a song. They have written a song that I think has 3 layers to it. And I think one of those layers is that the developers are saying, and this is the literal final shot of Rebirth, there will be no more promises to keep at the end of the journey.
Oh, this is the song that
and-
they sing at the date.
Right. And I think that this is the developers finishing their promise that they made 30 years ago when Cloud said, the promised land, I think I can find her there.
Mm.
I think they're finally going to let us find Aerith. No more
yeah,
promises to keep.
Gotcha.
Oh, interesting.
This is the one
Interesting.
that people yelled at me for. I remember that.
Yeah, don't worry about it,
No,
man.
I'm
It
kidding,
happens to
kidding,
the
no, I
best of
don't care.
us. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, there was a long story. But anyway, first of all, can I just say they nailed every character. except
Yes,
for
they
Sid.
did.
Except for
Yeah,
Sid.
well, I think with Sid, they had to unfortunately censor him a little bit, which does suck, I will say. But I
don't
will
think
say
they had
I
to, but they chose
I
to.
did love that they gave him a connection to Aerith that he didn't previously
That I
have.
liked.
I loved Uncle Sid so much. I loved that vibe so much. It was so
But
good
he's
for his
supposed
character.
to be, all right, he's supposed to be, they made him like the kind Southerner. He's supposed to be the get off my lawn kind of Southerner.
I think we will see that.
I mean,
That might be his way
yeah.
of coping in part 3 with her dying.
But he was, I think, like, because he's supposed to be like yelling at his not wife because they're not married, right? He just yells at her. Right?
But like,
Serious?
also the running joke of him like being old, like he's not old.
Yeah, he's 35.
No, he's like our age.
Yeah.
He's like a little older than us.
Yeah, he's like, yeah,
Because I thought he was in his
He's like-
50s, and then I looked him up, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
30s. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I lost my dream. I'm like, dude, you're 30. He's
You're
32?
he's 32. Yeah.
Dude, that's
Oh my god.
It's
And then
nuts.
But I
he's
mean-
like,
Yeah.
it's like he's on a
I mean, the
greener
game was-
pastures.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess back in the day, games were made for like teenagers, so I guess
Yeah.
like, the prime
Yeah, but
demographic
the
playing game would be,
developers
like,
were probably older than that. And
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah,
Sure,
but
yeah,
I will
yeah.
say,
yeah.
I will say that almost makes it funnier because they see themselves as those grumpy old men.
dude, it's like, I love, yeah. Sid, also, would have been nice to play as Sid, but, that's okay. Oh, we
That'll
could-
be in part 3.
Vincent.
That'll
I
be
love
in
how
part 3.
Or how about when Vincent goes up and he's clearly capable in combat and he just dicks around while everyone else does
Yeah,
work?
he opens the door for you.
Yeah.
Or how
Thanks,
about, hang on.
Vincent.
First of all, I gotta yell at people real quick. You guys, everyone was like, oh my god, the Queen's Blood, totally worth it. No, it wasn't. He shoots a card and that's it? Did I
I
miss
mean-
it?
So I didn't finish the Queen's Blood quest. What happened at the end of Queen's Blood? Because like that was one where I got all the way to the end with like the ghost guy, and I couldn't do. I'm like, this
There's
is so
lore.
and I remember you saying
There's
it wasn't worth
lore.
Or what's the lore?
There's
that-
lore.
Was there something good that like I missed? Because I just thought it was
Essentially,
boring
the
as hell.
Shadow Blood Queen is a representation of Genova.
It's a representation of Genova? Because I thought it was gonna
Yes.
be Genova.
It's essentially Genova. So,
Okay. So what I
the
missed?
Emerald Witch is a representation of the Cetra.
Okay.
So it's kind of reenacting the war between the Cetra and Genova.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I
Yep.
thought. But why
That's
did
the lore. They'll probably put more in part 3 because they've already said it's coming back and they're revamping it. So I'm sorry.
Fuck Queen's Blood.
Well,
First of all,
do you
I
think-
hate Chadley. I was really mad they didn't kill off Chadley in this game. I
Yeah,
really
Charlie is
wanted-
very annoying. Yeah.
I will say, Vaughn, you will probably be happy to know a lot of people theorize he's going to be the secret final boss.
Is that a joke?
A lot of people think that he's collecting all this
Really?
information so that he will be a secret final boss.
Thank you, Sturgeon. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's wait, and Jill is 25. Did they think that
Wait,
Mhm.
what?
Yes,
Wait,
I am
Angel's
officially
wait,
older
what?
than Angeal Hewley. Mm-hmm.
I'm Angeal's age. What?
Mm-hmm.
I think. All right. So
And
I
Gio
hate-
looks like this grizzled 60-year-old man. And like,
Yeah, no, he's 25.
He's 25.
25 years old.
How old is Sephiroth?
Wait, no, aren't like Zach and Cloud supposed to be like 25?
So Cloud
That
is
makes no
22. Zach is 20.
Zach's like 24, right? Isn't he like? a
Zach
year
met
older?
Aerith when she was like 15. At that time, he was 17. And then Crisis Core skips a few years. Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I'm
want to
bad
say
with
Zach
chat,
is like
by the way.
23, 24.
Zach is 23, Aerith is 22, Cloud is 21, Tifa is 20.
Mm.
Wait, Tifa's not even old
Okay,
enough
so
to drink?
Angeal,
Ridiculous.
Angeal,
Wow.
Well, in the US, she's
Angeal
plenty
is
old enough to
kidding.
drink in
No,
Japan.
No, I'm kidding. Midgar.
Angeal is not 2 years older looking than Zach. That's
Wait, he's
insane.
2 years
1
older
year
than
older.
Zach?
2 years.
That's what, according to what everyone just said. Yeah.
Well, okay, to be fair, Angeal is 25 before he dies. Zach is not 23 when he dies.
Dude, hang on. I don't
There is
care.
a time skip.
I don't care. This man
So,
is not 25.
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, to
No
be
way.
entirely fair, he's not only, quote, 2 years older than Zach, he's 2 years older than Zach during FF7.
Dude, why does he look angry in every... He was a nice guy.
Wait,
I
how
thought.
old is Sephiroth supposed to be? Is Sephiroth supposed to be like 30?
No.
27, I think, was the closest.
It's
24,
his Genova
27,
cells.
somewhere around there.
They allow him to age like a normal human being in this universe. Sephiroth age. Hold on. Dude, there's... Sephiroth... Oh, wait, I can't look.
It's
at that.
funny, man.
30? So why does
no,
he
that's
age
too high.
well?
That's too high. That's too high.
27 to 30.
Yeah,
Okay.
27 is about right.
But so why does
When he
he
dies.
age like a normal 30-year-old? And then
Because he's the pretty boy. That's
oh,
why.
hold on. So I'm supposed to believe that he's close, and then Sid is 32.
Yep. What no Genova cells does to someone, I guess.
This guy, well, this I could believe. But like, yeah, like that guy's
Yeah.
not 32.
His voice in Advent Children is also his voice actor in Kingdom Hearts, and the vibe I always got when I was younger is that he's this crotchety old man who's in like his late
Dude, have you guys
40s.
watched
Like,
Final Fantasy VII Abridged?
I've seen bits of it.
Oh my god, you have to watch
Machina
that
Abridged.
series. The Machinima Abridged of Final Fantasy VII is like the funniest shit. Like I still hear the voices for some of the like. So Sid is just screaming the whole time. It's a really good show. They had the guy who plays Deku in My Hero Academia voices Cloud. It's really good.
Yeah, I will say that series gave people actual jobs. Like people were actually known for that series and got jobs in the industry because of it. So
Barrett is the best character in that show, in the abridged, in my opinion.
I mean, Barrett is the best character in Final Fantasy VII. Period. So like,
you think so?
Accurate.
Barrett is your. I thought
one of them.
Barrett?
One of them. I love
Barrett.
Aerith, but I feel like as far as
Barrett's awesome, but I mean, Cloud's the best. Like, let's be real.
I was more so joking, but I will say he was probably one of, if not the best character in Rebirth. His scenes, John Eric Bentley, absolutely killed it.
Oh, what do we?
Absolutely killed it.
Oh yeah, he crushed it. They did such a good job with Barrett. Like, yeah,
If he does not win voice performance, if he does not win video game performance of the year, I will riot. That man deserves it.
What about what did you guys think of how they did what the hell is this name?
Dine?
Dine, yeah.
I mean, my heart broke.
That was good. Yeah, it was super emotional. They did all this stuff in this game where like they wanted you to feel like super emotional. Like the directing was done super well. Like in terms of like getting those emotional hits and like the filmmaking, quote unquote, like the cinematography of the cutscenes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was so good.
Absolutely.
All right, can we talk? The one scene that really messed me up is when they're going up and they're all revisiting their trauma, which is a great addition. I don't understand.
Oh, the trials.
Oh my god, the Aerith part where the mom is dying was like so depressing.
If I can point out that
it made me
trial,
anti-Midgar, by the way. I was like, when they're all passing by her and they're like, she's like crying about her mom. I'm like, you know what? I'm pro Shinra now. Like they deserve to get the plate dropped on them. Honestly,
trial.
This crying little girl, and they're like, yeah, we got better stuff to do than help this child.
I know. I will say that trial has one of the best implementations of it being a video game, not because of something they added to it, but because of something they did not give you in that trial. And that is a sprint/run button. That level of storytelling where they show you just how tired and confused and scared this little girl is that she can't even run around and ask for help. She has to walk. Like, that lack of that button, that little detail absolutely broke me. I broke into tears because I saw she couldn't run.
So the mom died from what exactly, though?
She was experimented on constantly.
Okay, so because my understanding in the original, because you hear the gunshots and they say take the camera off, I always assumed that it was the mom. Was
That's how her dad died. That's how her dad died, gassed. Where Ifalna was taken into Shinra and she was experimented on a lot by Hojo. So she kept getting injected with stuff and like just absolutely tortured.
The mom was kept alive because I thought that the mom was fatally wounded and got away.
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope. She was taken in by Shinra. That's why Aerith grew up in Shinra HQ as a little girl.
Oh, right.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's another thing I got wrong in my video essay. Well.
No worries.
Okay. So that's
It's a lot to remember, man. It's a lot
It
to remember.
is.
Like
yeah,
the
60
I
hours.
played the OG.
Yeah.
I mean, I played the OG. Man, I want to say maybe 2019, most recently when it came on Switch, and like I
Mm.
remember so little of it now, and I
Yes.
was like paying attention, like you know what I mean, and like it's
It's a
so
lot.
like because when I'm listening, yeah, it's a lot, and especially
Thank
with
God for
the
YouTube.
graphics like back then. Yeah,
Mhm.
And if you accidentally press like the A button, you like miss a whole blurb of like
Yeah.
of information. Like, no. Yeah, no. I mean that game, but I was going back. I think they did a good job of conveying information for the most part in the original. There are exceptions. I think so. First of all, there's some new stuff that I actually really liked. At first, I was like, why are we in Gongaga? First of all, I forgot Gongaga was a jungle. I didn't remember that in the original.
Yeah, it kind of looked like one sort of ish in the original, but they definitely
really doubled
looked at
down.
that and were just like, yeah, it's Jungle Town now because we don't have a Jungle Town.
And I
So
liked
it's
it.
gonna be
I really
Gongaga,
liked- I
yeah.
really liked that they did something with the reactor. I liked that Scarlet had that moment where the girls all fight Scarlet. I like that. That was like one of my favorite additional chapters. Then when
I
Tinker
loved
Tail's in the
seeing
live stream-
Cisne again. It was so good to see her again.
Can I be honest? I never gave a shit about Cisne. Am I an asshole?
No, you just
I
have
just-
preferences.
Oh no, it's not even a preference. Like I thought she was cute, but like I don't.
That's
Like,
fair.
what was her personality? Like she was nice.
I would say
He
inquisitive.
was like
I would say
he's
she's
like Zach's Tifa.
But she's not though, because Zach already has Tifa that he meets later in the game. I just feel like she doesn't do anything.
I don't
I'm not
know.
trying to be mean
I
about
quite
it.
enjoyed
Cisne. It was nice seeing
No,
her,
dude, that is so fair.
but I just didn't really. She seems cool. That was my mentality on her. I was like, she seems cool. But then people were like talking about her like she was just really well developed. Like I don't think any of the Crisis Core characters, any of them, are even close to the original cast.
No, not at all.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And
No.
Angeal is most memorable because how many times does that go? Angeal! Like 50
The only
times.
one that came out of Crisis Core a better character, honestly, was Sephiroth because of his development with him
Zach.
being sane.
Well, and Zach.
Yes, and Zach.
Zach,
That was
fuck
kind of a
Genesis.
given because he's the protagonist.
Well,
I hate
well,
Genesis.
here's a question.
I hate him.
Do you think Genesis is going to show up in part 3?
I hope not. What a dog
my
shit
forgot-
character.
My Forgotten Capital
wait.
server. My Forgotten Capital server is going to attack me for this one. I think what they have done is they know that people did not like Genesis, were very annoyed with Genesis, didn't like him. But they
Yeah,
still
wonder
had
why.
plans for him after Dirge of
Yep.
Cerberus, as we saw. And so what they did is they took Genesis's narrative and they took Sephiroth and they did the fusion dance. And so now Sephiroth is sort of playing the role that they may have had in mind for what would happen with Genesis.
Yeah, we went through
Well,
all
well,
that and they don't even kill Genesis off. And then they're like, oh, you get more plot of Genesis. I'm like, I don't want more plot of Genesis.
Wait. Can I ask why do people hate Genesis so much? Because like
He's
I think-
annoying.
Because
I'm
I thought he was
not
kind of cool. I mean, like I didn't think he was the greatest, but I thought he like looked cool. Like
I'm
like,
gonna play
I
some
don't
of
know,
his
I think he was-
dialogue.
I mean, his dialogue's terrible. Like, yeah.
He's just a corny.
But, like-
he's just so corny. Like he's so.
I will say his voice actor in Crisis Core Reunion was a lot less punchable. He actually
Oh, was he?
sounded like a lot better than original Genesis, but not by much. Can't really save that dialogue.
He's just so. Like,
Do you think that he's gonna? Do you think he's gonna show up in part 3?
If he does,
because like
if he does, it will be a secret boss of some sort. It will not be main plot. I think Sephiroth has taken what they had in mind for Genesis, and that's what they're rolling with.
what if? Okay, this Sephiroth that's like going through time is really just a disguise of Genesis. Genesis.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh wait, hold on. I think this is the best cutscene of all time.
Oh, God damn it. Here we go.
First of all, Crisis Core. This is what I mean. Like the characters are so. I'm sorry, a lot of them are bad. Like,
My
That's it.
friend, do you fly away now? To a world that abhors you and I?
Shut up!
All that awaits you
Shut up! I'm warning
is a
you!
somber morrow. No matter where the winds may blow.
Oh my god.
I don't see Sephiroth today, but are you game?
come on, like he's so lame. He's so lame.
He is lame, yeah.
It really is, yeah.
Like, cause you kind of get some distance from it. You think of his cool design, and I was like, why did I hate Genesis? Like, he looked really cool. And then I go back and
He
watch
looks
these
cool.
cutscenes. He looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the garbage that comes
Yeah.
out of his mouth.
I will say,
Like,
I will
the idea
say,
of a soldier going rogue is a cool idea. But I hate him.
Yeah.
And he's always quoting Loveless, which is a romance play. And I'm like, dude, aren't you supposed to be
I
the
will
villain?
say, I think New Loveless G Edition that we see in the Gold Saucer is a very big key like foreshadowing element of the story, and also showing us like kind of what has already happened in Re-Trilogy and what may happen in the future. But chill.
Dude, it's so I hate him. I love him, but here's the thing. He's funny in bursts, but when the whole game is building him
Yes.
up as this villain, and every time he's on screen, I roll my now I laugh at him now that time has
Yeah.
passed. But like when I was playing that game, I was like, oh my god, like it's
Right.
another Genesis scene. Here we go. Like, and I
Right.
don't know if I think I kind of grew a hatred for him.
A lot of people do.
They insert
Yeah.
him. They insert him in Crisis Core. I remember he's like in the Nibelheim scene.
Yes,
But they
that
don't
ruined
they
him
would
for
have him.
everybody.
They would
That ruined him for everybody.
He's like the guy that's like I was there, and it's like no you
you
weren't. That's what Genesis is. Like he's like, well, I was there too, guys.
Yeah.
No, like I hate him. Anyway, okay, so let's get back to the ending of this game. So all right, so we don't. Our conclusion is, by the way. Oh, you know what I liked? They actually did something with that Glenn, because I didn't give a shit about the Wutai War, really, if I'm being honest. And the whole time they kept having this guy. First of all, nothing like Glenn is a perfectly fine name, but when you see this like guy who's got this past and everything, and he's just Glenn.
Yeah.
Like, can you come up with like something that's like you have these characters like Cisne is a great name for hell, even Genesis is a great name for a character, and Geo,
I will
and then you have
say-
fucking Glenn, like really?
If you want to laugh,
Yeah.
if you really want to laugh, his teammates are named Lucia, which I feel like is a decent Final
Yeah.
Fantasy name,
Mhm.
and then Matt with two
Matt?
T's.
They're too normal. Like they're too like
Glenn
normal
and
names,
Matt.
you know?
Like fucking
Okay,
and
here-
also
here's-
what is his drip? Like what is he wearing, dude?
He's wearing the
Here's
black
the question,
robe, I
is that-
guess.
Is he Cloud's dad? Because that's a
No.
theory that.
No.
Are
No.
you sure? Are
I
you
will,
sure? 'Cause
I
there's-
will so happily debunk this right now live on stream.
Let's go. I've never even heard this theory. I was excited for
So-
it. Now I'm gonna get my Greens trust. Let's do it. Speed run this. Let's go.
All right,
I
First Soldier.
think that's cool.
First Soldier takes place when Sephiroth is 16. Cloud would have already been born because Sephiroth, when he dies, is about 27 years old. Cloud is about 16, right? Cloud would already be born.
But how do you know Sephiroth isn't like 40 or 50? How do we know that? Isn't it all like
Because he
They
and
could change
Geo,
stuff.
he and Geo and Genesis are around the same age in Crisis Core. That's why they trained together when they were younger. Yeah. But the way I can debunk this is no, he did not like have a child and then go into First Soldier, because Glenn talks about being in the Soldier P0 program for years with his buddies, like talked about the good old times, about how they'd always get out of trouble together, yada, 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 yada. I doubt Shinra is gonna allow somebody to just leave for like 3 years, because in Traces of Two Past it specifies Cloud's dad left when he was around 3 years old. He like disappeared in the mountains and was never seen again. I doubt Shinra is just going to allow somebody to leave a highly classified military personnel and just go have a kid and like live there for 3 years and then be like, yeah, welcome back, buddy. Like, absolutely, get on back in here, you know? I highly doubt that would be the case. He also has a reputation for being the quote scum of the slums because he's a heavy gambler and he will pretend that he's making these bets and getting this money to send it to his sick grandma. Yeah, that's the kind of guy Glenn Lodbrok is.
So Glenn has a whole lore because he just kind of shows up.
Yes.
Wait, so who is he exactly? Because he's from
If you-
Wutai, I thought.
He
right?
looks like
No.
that.
If you play the first soldier, which is in Ever Crisis, so you do not have to play it, just look up the cutscenes. It will explain to you that Glenn Lodbrok and then Lucia and Matt, his teammates, are all part of the, quote, first generation of soldier. This is before we started injecting people with Genova cells. This is purely a highly trained military personnel, like highly classified group. And they are called Soldier P0.
Okay.
So he's in Soldier.
Okay.
Then Sephiroth comes along. He's like Gen 2. This is when we start injecting people with Genova cells.
Okay.
So the whole story is about teenage Sephiroth interacting with Glenn and his trio and the stuff that happens on an island that they're sent to find a place for a reactor. Now, Sephiroth is like 16 years old. Cloud would have already been born.
I thought he was here as like a Wasn't he here doing some shit with Wutai? What was Glenn doing this whole time again?
So this happened when Sephiroth was 16, right? So we have a good 10 plus years in between then and re-trilogy. So something happened in that amount of time. I don't want to really spoiler for Soldier because it actually is pretty good. I would look up the cutscenes at least. It probably won't take you very long.
Okay.
But yeah, something happens at the end of First Soldier that makes him start doing stuff with Wutai. So
Okay.
yeah,
See, why the fuck do I have to know like 5 games? And then people are like, do you know how hard it is to tell people to play a PS1 game? I
yes.
wanted to just be able to tell people to just play Final Fantasy VII. Oh, here's a new updated version. And
I
then
will
have to
tell you,
know
Vaughn, I
everything.
know your pain as a Kingdom Hearts fan. I know your pain. For
But we
some
didn't
reason,
have to
Square
do
Enix,
this.
for some reason, Square Enix has decided to make the mobile games canon and have actual plot and lore in them, and I don't like it. I don't
What?
like this change.
The comics
But it is
do
what
the
it
same
is.
thing. Comics industry do the same thing. It's like, oh, you have to read 500 issues of fucking everything
Yes.
to know.
This is my
anything.
problem with Marvel movies and Marvel currently is like I don't want to have to watch like 10 different series and then also the movies to know what's going on. So
Yeah, it's just oh my god. But yeah, so okay, so this dickhead shows up, and then it turns out he was Sephiroth in disguise, and then he gets shot in the face, right? And then he becomes.
I think he is a black cloak. So it's not
Right, so it's a black
technically
cloak, so-
Sephiroth, but it's one of Sephiroth's little buddies going around pretending to be him.
pretending to be Glenn. Wait, so Glenn is a real person? Because I thought
Glenn is a real person.
Because I thought Glenn was just the name of a guy that Sephiroth's pretending to be.
Nope. Glenn is a real person. Glenn Lodbrok.
Why, like? All right, sorry.
I know. No,
thought
Vaughn,
it was
I feel the
just-
same way for a lot of things. Yes, I get it.
Oh my god. All right, so because I was like, that's cool, because I didn't get every time Glenn Lodbrok showed on stream, they were talking about like Wutai politics, Wutai war. I was like, I don't give a shit. I really don't care. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care about the corporation or the Wutai government or like their feud. I'm not trying to.
I feel like that's going to be the big focus in part 3, unfortunately. So I guess buckle up for that.
Well, that's fine,
it's gonna be a
guess.
huge part there.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Just, I like the Wutai part in the original
hmm
because it was a good character thing for Yuffie.
Yeah, and I think it still will be. But I think they're going more with the idea that the war has escalated and we're actually going to, go to war with Wutai. Like, stuff is actually escalating. We're going back to the war, baby.
So is
you
Yuffie
know?
not gonna steal our materia again then?
I
Guess
don't know.
Probably
So
not, 'cause
I
now
was
she likes
okay.
us.
I was okay if she had done that after watching the Interrograde DLC. Like, with where she ended off and, like, what she was looking for the party to do. I actually would have been okay if she had stolen our materia then, because it would have been a moment of her, like, testing us. Like, seeing if we were actually strong enough to help her help Wu-Tai.
Now, I don't.
But now I don't think she's gonna do it. And if she does, it'll be, like, a big moment of betrayal, like they did with Ketchi and Gold Saucer, maybe? Maybe? I don't know.
Did you guys? I thought
I don't know.
was, or I know it's Kate Sheep, but they saved Kate Sith in this game now. Did you think? Did you think he was? I thought they did a very good job with Kate Sith in this game.
I absolutely adored Ketchi in this game. I absolutely adored him. I was so happy with his voice actor, his animations, his personality, just everything about him. They absolutely nailed it.
And he was like, yeah, I really liked him in this game. I really thought he was.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I thought the fact that he was openly Shinra and was like hacking the terminals, he was like, "I'll do what you need to do." You know, they actually.
Well, and we haven't gotten the full plot twist with him yet, and I wonder how they're going to do that. I wonder how it's going to be done, because it's like, is he alternate intelligence? I think that's where they're going to go. I think they're going to be like, yes, he's helping this person. I don't know if it's okay to talk about who he is in the original or not, but
everyone here knows.
Okay. So I don't think they're gonna go with like Reeve is like totally controlling him with like a remote control like they kind of did in the original. I think he's going to be more of an alternate intelligence that Reeve created. Yes, exactly. Yes.
That would be more interesting, honestly. That would be.
I think so because he's able to transfer bodies seamlessly. He even makes a joke about it where he says, like, if I went Crow to the whole Gold Saucer would be weeping, so I have plenty of backup bodies or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think he's AI is what he is.
I think that would be better because in the original, I was confused in Advent Children when he shows up. I'm like, why is Rufus? I mean, why is Reeve still controlling this body?
Well, in the original, the compilation. Oh dear God, do we?
We don't have to. It's up to you.
Dirge of Cerberus canonized an ability for Reeve where he could just make things come to life. That was originally how they explained Ketchi. That was originally how they explained him. So I think now they're going. Now I think they're going with AI, and that he's just an AI program that Reeve either taps into or directly created, and like, yeah.
See, when they simplify shit, I really like it. Or when they expand on shit and that doesn't make sense in the original, I like it. But when they complicate shit, I'm like, fuck, guys, come on, we were right there. Like, okay, so you know what I liked? I liked that Tifa was, because I was afraid that they were gonna just blow the lid on the Cloud secret identity early, and I like that it was little hints of like, oh, you do remember Zack and Gungaga. Oh, you do remember falling in the water.
Yeah, can we talk about how Cloud remembers Zack a whole lot earlier than he should? Because that's awfully huge. That is huge. I loved it. I love that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because it was like it was like he wasn't like he was imagining Zack as being like another one of the soldiers as opposed to like
he did it wrong. I really liked that touch.
Yeah. I like the part where here the real Cloud steps in to save this was even in the demo, steps in to save Tifa. That was really cool. There's a lot of great stuff in this game. Man, there's a lot of great stuff.
So if I can say what I think is going to happen with the big live stream scene, I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of what we did in the original with it. And I think that's not too controversial of a thing to say because we've already touched on a lot of what the original live stream scene revealed to us in Rebirth.
Not that much of it, though. We touched
on some stuff.
But like when
Tifa went into the live stream via the weapon, she did see the big reveal of Mount Nebel, which is a big part of the original live stream scene where she sees that Cloud was actually trying to save her, and that's how she ended up hurt.
Oh yeah.
is that he
yeah.
tried to save her, the bridge broke. Therefore, that's why he was ostracized, because everybody thought he was trying to hurt her or like spur her on. So we already covered that. We have sort of already covered the Zack angle. Cloud remembers that there was Zack Fair there. He's not remembering him in the right role, but he knows who Zack is, sort of. We touched on, Tifa now knowing that they weren't actually that close as childhood acquaintances rather than besties in childhood. That is only if you do the Nibelheim side quest, but I know a lot of people probably did because they're big Tifa fans. So if you do the Nibelheim side quest, you get a line from Tifa where she basically says, I guess we weren't that close after all. Because she says, like, well, you always like to be by yourself. And Cloud basically goes, did I? Like, do you really think that? And then she goes, well, then I guess we're not that close after all. So we covered a lot of what the original live stream scene revealed to us.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's like the big twist with Cloud and Tifa, right? Is that like in the original game, the whole time it's like you think Tifa likes Cloud, but then like you find out it's the reverse, is that Cloud really liked Tifa and she didn't like him because he was this like awkward loner kid.
Well,
and like
it's
like their whole dynamic is
it's
inverted.
not really that. It's just that she thought they were a lot closer as like children than they actually were.
Yeah, it was
like she thought they were hanging out all the time. They were besties, like, and now she realizes no, that's not the case. So
wait, in the OG that wasn't in the original. It was like she didn't.
Sorry, continue.
Like I thought in the OG it was like Cloud was always chasing after Tifa, like because he liked her and she just didn't have time for him.
I will disagree with you there. I will disagree with you there. What Cloud wanted was the not appreciation. He wanted to be accepted in Nibelheim. He wanted to be, able to like play with the other kids and like talk to the other adults and like just be a normal kid and like be a normal dude. He wasn't. He was heavily ostracized, him and Claudia both. And that's because during Mount Nebel, everybody thought Cloud pushed her to go up there. She got hurt, ergo it was Cloud Strife's fault. That's what everybody thought.
Him being like, no, but like, wasn't him being like a loner like even before that though? Like that, because
he was before.
Well, I mean, again, I haven't played since like 2019.
He was before that.
Like I felt,
he was a loner before that, and then the Mount Nebel just made all that worse. No, he was.
And I will tell you, Traces of Two Paths does explain why he was a loner before then. It's because of his father. So
his father was
basically. His father was a mysterious wanderer who came into town. He and Claudia had a child, and then he just vanished. Nibelheim is very, like, conservative, small town nowhere. This is, like, a very big, like, no thing to do. They're literally the town that's going to shun you if you have a child out of wedlock, and, well, Claudia did. So.
Gotcha. So, they're not even married. I didn't know that. Okay,
right.
So. They hold on real quick with this thing. Did he win his war? I'm sorry, we keep getting so far off topic. Did he win his war with these guys?
Did he win his war?
Sorry, remember Sephiroth was fighting these guys, and
the weapons.
Yeah,
the baby weapons.
What happened down there?
I mean, as far as we know, the blue weapon is slightly injured, but he seems to be doing okay. And it looks like they are pushing back the whispers, from what I can tell.
Okay. And we're going to just, I guess, see more of that?
Most likely, yes.
In later parts? Okay. Sounds good. What is... I'm trying to think, what else do we want to talk about, I guess? Because we went out so far, of course. But, I mean, I think we know... Because it really... I think it's a weird thing that's like... The most conclusive thing you could say is things are inconclusive, right?
Correct.
Like, I mean,
yep. We are in a realm of confusion, and the devs want to keep us there a little while longer.
How fucking long
until part 3?
God damn it!
4 years.
3 years, baby. Here we go.
As
It's
long
gonna
as
be a
it's done in
long
this
wait.
decade. Oh,
It will be.
goddamn.
They've said it approximately 3 years
First of all,
that
I
it'll be
love-
done.
They do a great job even just scrolling through of differentiating each location that they fight in.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what the
Mhm.
fuck any of these locations are.
Yeah. That's
But
fair.
they are like, okay, Purple Land, great, awesome.
Here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think that in part 3 we will get like dialogue, personality, character stuff for Genova? Like we'll actually see Genova talking, walking, being like an
Maybe.
actual character?
I don't know. I think they're kind of sticking to the monster
that'd be
aspect
rad.
with her,
that's a
but
good
maybe.
point. That's a good
Maybe.
point. Because I know
Maybe.
she's kind of strikes me as something that's like Lovecraftian. That's almost like
Yes.
meant to be otherworldly, meant to never be
Lovecraftian
understood.
is exactly how I would describe the vibe of Genova, especially in Rebirth. They really
But
amped
she
it up
doesn't
with like
talk,
that.
right? She has no lines of dialogue ever across all these media, despite how essential she is, which is crazy. We don't know what her personality is. Does Genova? It's most of
Yeah, we don't know what voices Sephiroth is hearing in his head, telling him what to do.
Yeah,
I
like
feel
I would,
like-
I would love for them to do that with Genova to expand that because like I feel like as she is right now, she's just kind of this like blank slate monster that's like I feel like there's no like I would love some backstory with Genova,
Mhm.
like the motivations and stuff.
I
would
think
love that.
that's
Like,
what
maybe
they
something
were.
late, but
I think that's what they were trying to do with the final scene with Queen's Blood, with the Shadow Blood Queen, is they were kind of trying to give people that.
All right, maybe
It's not
I need to rewatch
officially
that cutscene.
Genova, but it is a representation of Genova, so like, kinda.
Okay, because I think I would
Okay.
love to learn more without them going crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I want an unknowable alien, no sob story for sure. I'd love to know bits more, but more
Yeah.
like I guess the kind of stuff here where it's like, oh my god, they gave us so much information. What the fuck is we talking about? But
yeah.
except-
Yeah.
No, I don't want like a sob story for sure. But I just want like why on earth does this alien go from planet to planet like killing like why? Like you know what I mean? Like
Well, I mean,
like
you
just
do kind of get that explanation in the Temple of the Ancients, kind of, sort of ish from the Cetra, kind
I
of.
like that sequence, by the way. I really
Yes.
like that.
No, that was cool. Yeah. That was really cool.
Some
Yeah.
of the ancients,
Yeah. That
much
was
less
sick.
tedious than the original.
Mm-hmm.
I love although I will say the part where we had to do this, that got kind of annoying.
Yes, but I will
Yeah,
say I
yeah.
loved Aerith's little moment of like recreating descending
That
from
was
10.
the coolest.
So
shit.
good.
That was the coolest thing. It's saving them. Oh my god! Like that Temple of the Ancients, I thought was such an upgrade of this game. I love it. I loved. It would have been really cool if Vincent did. They're just literally sitting on the steps. You
I
could've
know.
just
Yeah.
shut
I wish you
up.
could play as Vincent.
I know.
There's an even 9 characters. You could have.
I
20
felt
different
so
characters.
bad for Matt Mercer because this man was told, you're going to play Vincent. And he's thinking, like, I'm going to get to go into, like, the Lucretia backstory. I'm going to get to do, like, all of this stuff, like, go into why he hates Ojo. And then he opens the door for you and just kind of is there the rest of the game.
The boss fight was cool, and then he goes to sleep.
Yes. And then he just
Yeah.
kind of joins up later and he's like, hey guys, I'm here.
He's like, "Sup, fuckers."
Like you know how like when you're like the when when you have your 3 party members and the other ones are kind of in the back kind of like shooting and stuff like that you can't control. It would have been cool if Vincent and Sid like did that at least. Like
Yes.
where they ran around with you and like we're always like in the back line. Like that would have been cool.
I think they just didn't have them playable because they kind of ran out of time. Honestly, I think that is what happened. It's
Yeah,
like they
were
wanted to
spending too
have
much
them,
time
and then they were just
fucking
like,
Chadley.
I know.
And
I
towers
say
and,
this
like-
for the next game. If you could really, because I know they want us to feel bad for him. I don't, but like if you want me to really make this all worth it, I want by the end of the next game you strangled Chadley to death.
That's why I think a lot of people think he's going to be a secret final boss kind of thing, like a secret boss.
I hate him
so they can
much.
beat him up.
No, we know who I hate more? The worst, one of the most atrocious character designs I've ever seen. Ever.
It's really bad.
Oh.
Kid G.
Oh,
you
the
like
G.
Kid G? You like Kid G?
I hate him.
Oh,
He's like a 90s. 90s.
That's why he's awesome, dude. He looks like Tom DeLonge Goblin. He looks great. Yeah.
Like,
I enjoyed it because of it being so.
But like, you like this shit? Because I like your artwork.
Dude,
you like this design? Hold on.
I like the 90s.
Wait, he's an actual character?
You're talking Kid Goblin. Okay.
Wait, he's a character from the. Wait.
From the original, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He was in the original?
Yep.
Who the fuck? When was he in the original?
I don't remember, but he was in there. Yes.
But you don't like the 90s aesthetic, like his beanie and like, oh, it was so good. Like, dude, the 90s like visuals are like all through FF7. Like they all have like a 90s look to them. Like every character has like 90s kind of like clothing style to some degree. And like he just kind of like personified it.
Yeah, I know, but he just looked so he looked like he walked from a different set in this movie.
Yeah, he looked like he came from like a music video.
He looked like he came from like, I don't know, like Parappa the Rapper or.
Oh, you're talking about just like his. Okay, you're talking like his species, kind of, sort of.
No,
right?
Just the whole package.
No, his style, like his clothes.
All of it. His species, his stupid nose, his earrings, his beat. Like, let's pull this up. Like his. Why is he have boxing gloves? So like, there's so much to unpack. His ears, he looks like Dobby, but then he's got the long Pinocchio nose. Then he's got the stupid beanie hat, the boxing gloves, the life preserver, the gym shorts,
tech vest, yeah.
the sneakers. Like, I hate him. I hate him so much. He was in the original?
Yeah.
The fuck?
I don't remember him at all in the original.
I don't remember him at all.
I can't look it up because I can't leave this window, but yeah, he was.
Oh my god. Right,
it's funny. I think it's funny that you hated him so much. Like I thought he had a very 90s vibe.
There's just like, and I can't. It's like I have an irrational hatred towards Kid G. I genuinely hate him. Like his whole look. I think
he does kind of look like Dobby, yeah.
Like, because you look at he's next to these hyper realistic characters, and he just looks so out of place. And he shows.
He kind of looks like. He kind of looks like he came from like the DreamWorks Trolls movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Like he doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy VII character, and it bothers me because it's like he shows up. He's like, I've been watching this ancient temple for years. I'm like, and this is the design you've chosen for this like ancient guardian of the temple. Like, what are you doing? Like, he doesn't fit the aesthetic at all, and the fact that no one addresses it really makes me hate him even more.
For some reason, Rebirth did not do a good job of making like the cute characters look cute. The Moogles are terrifying. Why did we give the Moogles
look like shit? Yeah.
Why did we give them teeth?
The Moogles.
The Moogles. Yeah.
They look like koalas.
They look terrible. The Moogles in 16 look so good, and the Moogles in this just look like not good. Like they all they all think they went to the hospital with like tape wrapped around their head. Like I don't know, it's a very weird design.
Very strange.
Dude, the most annoying. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, because I remember someone showed up in my chat was like, "That is not a Moogle," and I hadn't played it. But they really. Why do they look like that? Like,
it's when the teeth come out. The teeth are the worst part.
I never noticed that. Oh my god.
They look like people. It's weird. Yeah.
I can almost get when I could almost get with the rest of the design if they didn't have the teeth. Who gave them the teeth? It's terrifying. Like, why are they
Go
over
on,
here
go to
with
the very
Tiki Turner
first one.
teeth?
Click on the very first one. Yeah, that's the Moogle in 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Moogle looks so much better.
Yeah, see, I didn't
Or
realize
is that 16? It might be 14. I don't know.
It is 16. It's 16.
See,
I think they used the same kind of design from 14, though. I think they, like, because Yoshi B made both. So.
See, because I didn't realize it, like, because I was like, oh, that, like, until someone came into my chat, because I don't play that much Final Fantasy outside of this one, and someone came in my chat and was like, that is not a Moogle. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, that is not a Moogle. Look up a
No,
Moogle.
it's not. Why do they have Timmy Turner teeth? Like, who gave them
I never
this?
noticed the
Why?
teeth.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Dude, have you seen Stuart Little's teeth?
Yeah, they're kind of similar.
Imagine being like, because there was real humans, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a real, because I haven't seen that movie, but aren't there like real kids that want to get adopted and instead like that rat gets chosen instead of like
I believe so, yes.
Imagine being one of those kids.
Yeah.
That's so heartbreaking for them. Anyway, so enough about terrible characters. All right, so wait, hang on. So who do you think the worst character design is, Chadley? Or who do you think is the worst character design?
Oh, the worst character. I mean, Charlie's a pretty bad character design.
What's bad about it as an artist?
Oh, man.
Rip into him.
I just think he's like dorky looking. Like, he just doesn't look cool. Like, in a world where like everything looks cool, right? In Final Fantasy, like that's like the kind of the bread and butter of Final Fantasy VII is like every character like just looks fucking cool. Like Genesis looks cool, right?
Like, I would
like
but
like. Yeah, but like Charlie just does not look cool. Like
he has no drip.
It's like, and he's got the sock suspender things. Like it's like so dorky.
Dude, like,
I love how we're roasting the robot child.
Like,
Good.
I'm against bullying, but I would shove this kid into a lot.
Damn it.
Taste.
Oh my god.
Look, he's all right. Him, yeah, he's a bad design. You know,
I will say his sister, his little sister, whatever, does have a better design than him. I will say that for sure. I feel like she's way cuter.
Like, look at how many people are drawing things. This is an AI art, is it?
Yes, it is.
Fuck, never mind.
Yeah, most definitely.
No, see, the fact that I can point it out in 2 seconds does say something about it.
Yes, it does.
Cringe. This is an AI art.
I'm trying to think like who are some of the other like random characters that you meet? Because I feel like most of the main characters have good designs.
I will throw out that Kyrie's design is something.
Oh, I think she's got a good. I hate her.
Wait,
she's got.
Which one's Kyrie?
I like her design.
Oh yeah.
It's mostly the bottom for me. Is like
what,
okay.
The 3 chains for no reason.
It's more of like the
dude. Again, this is the '90s thing, dude. This is like she looks like she stepped right out of the '90s, dude. Like that's like a thing in FF7. Like they all have this sort of '90s aesthetic in their clothing, like to a certain degree. They all have it. Like she's got the chains and the hot top.
That's just my opinion.
The Tim Burton stockings.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like her design. I don't like her. I think she's really insufferable.
I don't like Kyrie either.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that character at all.
This is why I was like, oh, she's cool. And then it's like, oh, I could just look at her while she says the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Kyrie is how I felt about Yuffie in original FF7. That's how I feel about Kyrie. She's just annoying.
Cisne's design was awesome. I love Cisne's design in this game.
Yes.
Yeah, she has a good design.
Like,
so good.
You know who?
I want to see
probably
actually.
I want to say probably my least favorite character is probably Roche.
Oh,
I couldn't stand whenever Roche. I could not stand Roche.
He's so annoying.
Yeah, no, and when they first showed him in Rebirth or Remake, when they were like, we're gonna have new soldiers, I was like, oh, this is cool. You're gonna add new soldiers. I thought they were gonna be like more like cool, badass characters, and he's so over the top, and it's like, he's like so corny.
I can't hate Roche. I can't hate Roche.
More than Roche. Roche is so corny. He's so corny, and he's so like, And his yeah, I every
And he
time
won't
he
shut
popped up,
up.
I was like,
He goes like, "Oh, my new rival." He sounds like one of those like shitty anime characters. I don't.
I will say I cannot hate Roche because my best friend absolutely loves like the lovable loser idiot characters, and Roche is like one of her favorite
You
characters
have
because of
Cloud.
that.
He fucked up everything.
Well, no, we're talking like the absolute losers. Like her favorite characters are Johnny and Roche. She also adores
Oh,
Vincent,
Johnny!
but
I love Johnny.
yeah, like she just loves those like
No,
stupid lovable
wait,
loser
wait.
types.
Did you just wait, Vaughn? Did you just call Cloud a lovable loser? Dude, he's like the man. What are you talking
No,
about?
I know he
He's
is.
like
No.
what?
No, I love Cloud. No, I love Cloud. I love Cloud. He's my favorite character.
No, he's a lovable loser. He's just not as much of a loser as like Johnny and Roche, but he's kind of a dork.
Loser in the
He's
sense
a
that
dork.
he loses a lot, Cloud. Not in the sense
Yeah, that
he's
too.
actually
He's also kind of a
piece of
dork.
shit.
I mean, we see him be kind of dorky throughout Rebirth. He does
Dude,
some kind of
I
like
Johnny. Johnny was funny.
Johnny's
I like
so
Johnny,
funny.
yeah.
All right, Johnny. All right, let's go. Let's rank the side character. What's the Queen Blood's girl, the champion? You know
Oh gosh, what was her
She
name?
was boring as hell. Her design sucked too. Terrible design.
She with the pink hair?
Yes.
Regina.
That's another thing. Regina, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful design.
I didn't mind her design. I thought she was
Really?
okay. I didn't mind her.
I don't know. She looks so tacky, man. Like, she looks like the kind of person that would play Queen's Blood, I guess.
I personally think she has a lot in common with, like, I won't say a ton in common because, you know, different styles. But when I see her, I kind of think of a Pokemon trainer, which is great because, like, you're playing essentially, like, the quote-unquote version of Pokemon-ish in this universe. I mean, it's not Pokemon, but, like, when you think of, like, Queen's Blood is a game, and then Pokemon is, like, a sport,
Like,
and they kind of equate.
To a battle, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
That's what I think, because I think kind of Pokemon trainer-esque.
What do we think? All right, let's see. So, all right, so I'm trying to think. So, is there anything else we wanted to talk about the ending? Because we were going into.
I mean, did you? Is there?
Because I don't know. I feel like we don't know Dick. All we could do is predict.
Yeah, we can theorize. That's about all we can do.
That's about it, right? Like we know what happened. Well, we don't. We know that we don't know, but we have. All right, hold on. We know that we don't know what happened. What we know is that there's multiple timelines that are being created by different decisions made by primarily Zach, or it seems like, or someone that goes in. They enter the minds of people, right?
Anybody, I would say, so what Zach is showing us is because his whole thing in Crisis Core is embrace your dreams and whatever you do, protect your soldier honor. Like, embracing your dreams is the big thing that I think is what causes these other timelines. It's like when you hold tight to them and you don't let go, you are able to have the power to change fate and destiny itself. So therefore, you can branch a timeline. We kind of get dialogue that says that somebody else other than Zach has already kind of done this. In Cosmo Canyon, there's an NPC who talks about how her parents died, but she so firmly believes that they lived in another plane of existence, essentially, that when she goes to sleep, she dreams about it. So because she's dreaming about another timeline. That's why, yeah. So basically, I think what the devs are basically telling us is that if somebody is able to hold on to that dream, embrace those dreams so hard that they never let go, they have the power to change fate itself. Which I think is honestly a beautiful message, especially right now with the world we are in. So many people have just kind of lost hope and given up, that kind of showing that you can change the future. I mean, look at Aerith's entire speech at Temple of the Ancients is about how the past is forever, it's set in stone, we can't change it. But the future is a blank page. We can do whatever we want with the future. We just have to, like, not lose hope and focus on the future. And I think that's what they're telling us, essentially, is that if you have those dreams and you embrace them and you try so hard and you don't let them go, you have the power to change fate itself. Which Nojima did mention some texts in the Ultimania that he has studied to write the plot of Re-Trilogy, and he says that by looking into them, you might be able to solve the story for part 3. And one of those is the Buddhist Yogacara, which is essentially where the idea of manifestation came from. In that the world is essentially how we perceive it. There is no like concrete world. It's all about our perception and our mind. So if our perception, if we manifest something so hard and we have others helping us to manifest something so hard, we can change what is going to happen. We can affect what is going to happen in the world.
Okay, so hang on. So they're doing this with the power of belief?
Basically, belief, hope. Yeah. It calls back to what was in the original.
It's going to take a bit to sell me on that. I'm not saying I'm against it, but it's going to take a bit to sell me on that, considering I just did all that fucking training, and they're like, oh, well, if you believe harder, you could beat Sephiroth. Like, what?
Yeah, it's corny, but I think if they do go this direction, it's kind of beautiful, especially with the kind of world we live in right now and how people are falling to apathy and just giving up.
No, listen, I'm pro the message, but I want to make sure that the story also has stakes. And,
right.
I think.
Well, I think that's why they used
us stakes, and
I think that's why they used Zack to show us that is how we affect fate, because everybody loves Zack and everybody wants Zack to win, right? Like they believe in him as much as he believes in his dreams and embraces his dreams.
Do you think because so let's say Aerith and Zack live, okay, and let me ask Chris, I'm not getting into as much shipping stuff as just
no.
So let's say Aerith has Cloud and Zack live. From your perspective, who would Aerith go for?
Personally, the Aerith that is currently in the story that we have traveled with through Remake and Rebirth, she's already moved on to Cloud. She has stated as such. If you watch her date, she has stated as such.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would agree with that, because like when I was watching when we were watching it, I said to my wife, I'm like, I think Aerith likes Cloud more than she likes Zack. Like,
plus
based on this.
Omniscient Aerith, or whoever it is that can move us around the live stream, literally just takes Cloud and is like, we're gonna go on a little date before the world ends, before I die. Like.
But I know Vaughn, you got into trouble with talking about this, but like I actually, like, again, I don't want to get in trouble because like it's whatever, like it's
no, dude, say what you want.
Interact with the game however you like, whatever, but like I
am the same way. I am the same way. I don't care what becomes canon. I'm going to like Cloud and Aerith's dynamic the most, and I'm going to write fanfic, and I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. The devs are going to tell their story, and that is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but like I do feel like the objective, at least in the original, was like Cloud and Tifa ending up together at the end of the game. Like,
that's what I thought.
But like in the remake though, and again in this Rebirth, like I do feel like they did have Cloud and Tifa more. It was definitely more lean. Like the story cutscenes were leaned more toward them until the very end.
That's what.
And then in the very end,
I felt the same way. I felt like the game.
I think the moment that tells us that, and this is me, and I'm not. Again, you love what you love, man. Like the devs are going to tell their story, but I will say the moment I think for no return for Cloud and Tifa was when Cloud was possessed, and Tifa tried to reach out for him and stop him, and he pushed her aside. And Aerith was the one to snap him out of it. You had that big romantic swirl in the music. You had his flashback to when they first met, when she gave him the flower. And that happens, and they go on their little date, and they hug, regardless of who you take in the gold saucer.
Well,
so
I think that's an interesting thing to go about it, but you have to also remember, and I guess I'm looking at the original too. So if they do something different in this, that's fine. But I still think, I mean, you got to think about what happens when Aerith tries to intervene in the original. He beats the living shit out of her. And
They've changed that though.
Yeah,
They've
I know.
completely
So
changed that.
Yeah,
so
I know, they changed that. What I'm saying is, so maybe in this timeline, I would think that would be a revision if they did that.
You know what I sometimes think is funny is like I wonder if the people who made the game back in the day, like, because putting in the whole like relationship mechanic in the original was clearly this like almost afterthought of like, oh, wouldn't this be like this fun little thing to throw in here? This would be kind of funny. We could do like funny scenarios. Yeah. And like it's spawned into this whole big thing. I wonder if it was ever like this thing like started out as a joke, like, and I can't believe this has turned into like this like big thing that people like fight about. You know what I mean?
I will say, really funny. Part of the problem is because a completely different developer essentially came in and wrote the rest of Disc 2 and 3 with regards to what was going on with Tifa. So Nojima got busy with a game called Bahamut Lagoon. And so they brought in Masato Kato, who also wrote the Xenogears series. And Masato Kato essentially looked at the script that was like the script notes. He didn't even look at the whole script. He just looked at the script notes. He saw girl dies, other girl is alive. Well, then she must be the love interest. Whereas from Nojima's writing standpoint, you look at like what he's doing. He's playing a lot more fair, I guess. And not really paying attention to one or the other. It's just kind of like whichever one you want to. Yeah. So Masato Kato essentially wrote the Tifa dialogue for the Cloud and Tifa dialogue for the live stream scene. And he also wrote the Highwind scene. So the Under the Highwind scene that everybody talks about, that was written by a complete. So he wrote a version where they did it in the Chocobo stables, and it was way too explicit. Katase saw that, and he's like, absolutely not. No. So Nojima came back around that time. He took a look at that, and he's like, aha, okay, I got to come up with something completely different. He liked the line, words aren't the only way to tell someone how you feel, and so he reused that. But he essentially rebuilt the scene from the ground up to not be as explicit, not be as risque, not be pointing towards anything other than they cuddled the rest of the night.
I mean, I still think they did it Under the Highwind.
I agree. Like, I wonder if in the remake they're gonna do the explicit.
Oh, they are 100. No, they're 100% gonna debunk it. They're 100% gonna debunk it because they can't.
Gonna shy away from it. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna.
I think if you look at every one of these games, they have like the first one and the second one. They both have the affinity scene where like it's like a like an optional scene between whatever character you have affinity with. And like I think in the third one, it's probably gonna be that Under the Highwind thing where like if you get Tifa, if you get Tifa, it's probably gonna be a big romantic thing. If you get like Red 13 or Barrett, you're just gonna be like hanging out talking about like what's gonna happen in the future. Yeah. It's probably gonna be like the same thing.
I agree.
That's probably what.
I firmly agree. That that's what's gonna happen. Is we're gonna have quote unquote options for Under the Highwind. I firmly agree. Absolutely.
That's how they're gonna do it.
Or they'll have an Aerith like ghost, like you talk to Aerith's ghost. That could be an
option. If it's a ghost,
like,
she might be back
or
at
whatever,
this point.
Yeah.
So this has been. So what else? So we touched on that. So they have to possess people in other timelines because they possess other versions of themselves in other timelines, right?
For now, that does seem to be the case. For now, yep.
And what are the circumstances that allow this? Believing?
I think there's an Aerith who is in the live stream who is kind of moving some pieces around, playing 4D chess with Sephiroth. Because that's who sent the wind to like save Zack and Biggs. I think it was Aerith pulling some strings, moving pieces around the board. But like I said, I think there's
dirty. He's doing
Biggs.
Monologue about maybe my life does have me, and then just immediately gets obliterated.
Oh, Biggs. I do adore him. I don't know. Maybe he survived in a different timeline.
He's dead as hell. Maybe.
We don't know. We don't know.
Did anyone else think Biggs looked just like Charlie Sheen in Apocalypse
Yes.
Now?
He does.
Like,
Yes.
as yeah,
Yeah,
like
he does.
to a T, right? Like that's like what they were going. Like I was
Absolutely.
like, this has to be Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
It's not.
For
But I
any
think-
other Final Fantasy fans, if you played Final Fantasy 12, he is the voice of, oh god, I had his name and then it flew out of my head.
Aren't there another Biggs?
Well, okay, so Biggs and Wedge have actually been in every Final Fantasy game, but they're just NPCs. You just happen to meet some characters who are named Biggs and Wedge. And that's in FF1. That's all the way back in FF1 is when that started. So, technically, yes. In some games, they'll play a more prominent role, but they're typically just NPCs that you run into.
Balthier.
Balthier, yes!
Balthier. I don't know how to say it.
Balthier, yes. He is the main character in Final Fantasy 12. So if anybody likes 12, same voice actor.
Okay. All right. That was good. I'm kind of sick of... Another thing is, honestly, and I think this game is different and using the multiverse in a different way.
Yes.
Thankfully. Because I'm fucking sick.
Yeah, because it's not like actual universes. It's all contained within the planet, within the life stream. It's just like different possibilities existing at the same time.
And it was
kind of
made
thing.
to reinforce the main timeline's themes. That I'm fine with. I'm sick of the current multiverse. Even though I did like the new Deadpool movie. I did actually have fun with it.
I really liked how Fiona and Cake used it. If anybody watches that show, I liked how they kind of went into it. Fiona and Cake, it's a continuation of Adventure Time. If anybody's a huge fan of Adventure Time.
I've actually never seen Adventure Time.
Oh, dude, you gotta treat yourself. That show is so good.
I've been told that that's one of the most essential ones to watch.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I basically covered everything I wanted to talk about. When I know what's gonna happen is I'll end the stream and then I'll think of something.
Right.
Do you guys have anything?
Nope. I think I'm good.
What about you, V?
Yeah, I think we covered so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. All right.
Anytime, man.
And V, let's give you one last chance. We got a bigger audience now to promote your book. Because if you guys are Final Fantasy VII fans, Oh, do you want to pull up on your end? You can pull it up on your end if you want.
No, you can pull it up. I'm just looking for my. Give me
right.
1 sec here.
I'll just pull it up. I'll share the link in the chat. All right. Here is. Do you want me to play the trailer or no?
Oh, dude, yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. Going to play the trailer and then you can talk about it for a bit. This is his comic book. So V is a writer and artist. such a good trailer.
I will say, I think you've got my attention. I may have spotted my favorite character in that little group shot there. I tend to have a type. I think I
Oh.
spotted her.
Thank you. Which one do you like?
The one in like the white robes who had like the blonde hair and like the crown on. That looks kind of like my cup of tea.
Yeah, no, she's a very cool character. She's like the main one of the main protagonists of the whole story. Yeah, her name's. Yeah, so in the war-torn land of Impera, a band of elite Soul Striker knights must help the reluctant Princess Roxana Sakai, that character with the white robes, learn to wield the power of the Solar Key to save the kingdom of Hikari from the dark clutches of the Principality of Dracul and bring salvation to their world. So
Excellent.
She's the heir to this kingdom. She is the heir to this kingdom and the heir to this solar power that her family can wield and harness and use to sort of bring energy and power to their kingdom. And they're locked in this battle with monstrous creatures called Fomorians, they're the inverse of that. They survive on darkness and like dark energy and shadow, and so it's this very you see it from both sides, right? It's like a war story where like our heroes are, when the war kind of erupts onto their home turf, they're stuck in this idea where they become very disillusioned. It's like, well, maybe the people that we're fighting for aren't always right. Maybe the enemies aren't always wrong, but we have to find a way to come together and bring peace to our world and sort of save everyone. And it's not just about who's right or wrong, but in kind of finding the commonalities between everyone, you know? That's kind of like a big theme of it. So it's like think Final Fantasy or X-Men or Gundam kind of wrapped up in this sort of like very like sci-fi fantasy aesthetic mixed with superheroes.
Love it. Yeah, you have my attention.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So when you back this book, because this is like basically the book's gonna be done, so it's more of like a pre-order campaign essentially, right? Or not pre-order.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, we're aiming to have everything shipped out in December. It's like Vaughn said, I co-wrote it with my friend Jason Matthews. I drew all the pages already, and they're with our colorist now, Andrew Dahlhaus, who colored all these amazing covers and the interiors that are on the campaign. So it's once he gets all the colors wrapped, we're get off to production to actually get printed and shipped out. And so me and Jason are shipping everything out ourselves. So we are very a very small independent company, but we're going to do our best to get everything out by December, as long as there's no hiccups in production. But yeah, it's all done. It's definitely coming out. We've got merch available too. We've got a t-shirt hat combo and some character stickers as well that are available. So we've got a lot of cool stuff that are available on the Indiegogo.
I already bought, so because there's alternate covers. The two I got. The two I got were this one. I like the simplicity of it, and the main one. That's
sick.
Love it, dude. Love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you
for this book. You know, we bonded over our love of Final Fantasy. We were both playing through the game because you draw. Man, is there a way we could go to look at some of your Final Fantasy VII art, like on your Instagram, or what's the best way to look?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. Yeah.
Let me check your Instagram. Because I have some stuff from you, your Cloud and your Tifa. So yeah, everyone follow V on Instagram. I don't know, Twitter or whatever. Oh, you did a Geiger cover. That's right. That's awesome. All right,
yeah.
Yo.
Right, this is your Cloud.
I've got a Rook cover. Yeah.
Love it. Oh yeah, the
gorgeous.
Sword, of course. Let's see what other.
Thank you.
Final Fantasy VII. Oh, you're Emma Frost, dude. Yeah, I love. Oh, yeah, I'll be at Terrificon, by the way, so we'll hang out there.
Oh, nice.
That was Garden State. Yeah, that was a fun con. Heroes Con. How many cons do you go to, dude? You go to like every.
I usually don't. I usually don't do a lot, but this summer I did a lot for promoting Soul Striker. But the last few years, the only ones I was doing was New York, so it's kind of been good to get back into the con scene and see everyone. Oh, there's a Final Fantasy. I'm not sure yet.
Because I might be there this year.
Gorgeous.
Oh my god.
Oh,
that is amazing.
Are you selling it?
I do have that one, yeah. Yeah. I do have that one, yeah. If you can, if you hit me up at a con, if you at Turfcon or Wicked Con, the next 2 weekends I'm going to be at both the Wicked Comic Con in Boston or Turfcon in Connecticut. But also I'm rep by Modern Mythology Comic Art .com. So if you go there, if you go to my Instagram, you can see links everywhere on all my posts for Modern Mythology Comic Art. And you can also Google Modern Mythology Comic Art.com. And my art rep Josh, if you reach out to him, we can ship some posters out to you as well. And we've got a bunch of them available, so of different stuff. Like,
This is nice. All right, so who's your favorite one to draw?
a Cloud, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, he's my favorite one as a kid. But I really like drawing Tifa and Aerith. I mean, I like drawing all of them. They're all fun. But I draw probably
Who's the
probably draw
hardest to draw?
the hard. Oh, I mean, Red 13, dude. Animals are hard to draw.
Mhm.
Hard to draw. But yeah, I draw. My wife really likes Aerith, so I draw a lot of Aerith. And I mean Tifa, I get a lot of commission requests for Tifa, so I feel like those three I draw a lot, just in general. But like I also like drawing Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. He's cool.
I've never. Is 8 worth playing?
Oh, dude, eight's great. Eight's so good. That was like one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Okay. I'll have to. Oh, dude, your Archangel. Sorry, I know it's Final Fantasy.
Dude.
Huge. So I'm an X-Men fanatic. I was actually reading some New Mutants the other day. Some Liefeld New Mutants. Oh, yep. Here's an Aerith.
My first exposure to X-Men was X-Men 97, and then I watched Evolution. I'm a pretty decent X-Men fan as well. Yes.
Okay. What, your first
Nice.
was X-Men 97?
Yes, I watched the original. It was
wow.
on. It
Oh,
was
you mean
no.
92?
I'm talking. Yeah, the original X-Men 92. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I watched the original because it was on demand when I was younger, and my dad was like, "We're gonna watch the show together." I was like, "Okay."
Nice.
I adore
Rogue, my beloved.
First of all, the
X-Men Evolution's really good though too. Evolution
Yes.
is really kick-ass.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been reading the comics more than but X-Men 97, the show, is like way beyond what I expected.
Mhm.
Because it's actually made, like, I got to talk to the creator Bo DeMaio of the show, and he was like a huge comic book fan.
Yo.
Nice.
But yeah.
That's probably why it's so good.
Yeah, because he grew. Look, I'm a huge. Got tons of X-Men on my show. I've read every single 80s X-Men comic, the whole.
Wow.
80s. I've read everything from issue 93 to last one I read was 269. So, read a lot. The last one I read was the Savage Land Rogue issue. So that was fun.
Nice.
But anyway, I want to talk about my book real quick, and then we'll call it a night. My book is on Indiegogo as well. It's also on a site called Fund My Comic, but I'll show the Indiegogo. You can pre-order mine as well. There is also a limited edition Final Fantasy VII cover right here. If you back my book,
that's the one I got.
Yeah, set 20 years after World War III, follows the idealistic son of a war hero who strikes out to become a superhero, inspired by his father's brave legacy, but he finds himself way over his head when he attempts to intervene at a heist at a nuclear reactor. So all the Final Fantasy VII cover will be limited. So once it goes to the printer, I'm printing however many copies. That's it. So if you want to guarantee that you get one, this is the way. Or you can get the main cover later on, or you could get it now. Up to you. But if you back it early, you do get this art piece free with your order. You will also get a free trading card here. So either way, got some good stuff. I know most people here are just into video games, but even if you just want to try out something new, we got some good stories for you guys. Because listen, let's face it, Final Fantasy VII, kick-ass story with some kick-ass art. So even if it's a video game, who knows? Always good to promote, right?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. Anything else you guys want to say before we head out?
Thanks for having me, man. It was great.
Yeah.
Hanging out, talking. Yeah, Stargazer, it was great meeting you. Do you go to Comic Cons or anything ever?
I do not. Nope. Not a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just curious. Well, anyone in the chat, if you see Bottom at a convention or me, I'm gonna be going to a lot of cons. Once I actually have a product to sell, I'll definitely be hitting even more cons. So, but yeah. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night. You guys don't have to stay in the back if you don't want to. I'm gonna play the trailer for my comic as we head out. Have a great rest of your day. Remember that Genesis sucks. And you know what? I'll play a Final Fantasy clip as we head out. See you guys.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Sephiroth!
Let's end this. Together.
I must admit, I underestimated you.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new, something greater to be born, and with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenova. For you, Dad. For you.